An orphan boy finds himself snagged right in the middle of the street and gets roped into some mad scientist's idea of a fun weekend, human guinea pig edition. Mad scientists do what they do best, turning him into their personal science project / ultimate weapon. Because, why cure diseases when you can create a super soldier, right? They call him Subject 17. For years, they pump him full of mystery cells from a horde of over 500 monsters until he's completely unrecognizable, something barely passing for human, when his body's totally wrecked like a rental car with no insurance. To the scientists, he's basically a science fair project gone horribly wrong. Now, they've officially labeled him useful for exactly one thing, shipping him off to the front lines. Yep, classic human shield special. This whole experiment was cooked up for that exact reason from day one. When the demon realm's doors swing wide, monsters crashed the party. Just a handful hit the jackpot and awakened as hunters. Only a rare few could actually hold the line. Everyone else just practiced their dramatic last stand faces. Turns out, humanity ran out of overpowered chosen ones. Then humanity, without any other option, went full villain mode. They began mass-producing Chimera hunters. Prisoners got monster cell upgrades, cooked up in a lab to do humanity's monster-slaying homework. Chimera number 17 finally crashes into the monster realm, late to the party as usual. But plot twist alert, he's one-shotting monsters that make S-ranks look like sidekicks. He slices through monsters like he's got a personal vendetta against the entire bestiary. He fights monsters even if it means turning his body into a walking disaster zone. The hunters in the back are questioning reality. Did they just see that? Or do they need new glasses? A single Chimera is out here replacing a whole army. Guess HR is about to be worried. Once the job's finished, the hunters ditch him faster than last season's plot twist. Their orders? Easy. Whatever you do, don't let Chimera number 17 walk back through that door alive. He's been wiped from existence, like your browser history, after a bad decision. Except for one lonely bone. But that single bone started defying gravity and start levitating. He starts patching himself up like a lizard on a protein shake. Right up until Chimera number 17. The teen fires back, because when do they ever just listen? This time, he's back as a jaw-dropping hottie with abs you could grate cheese on, still totally floored by his over-the-top comeback. He can't help but question, did he really respawn as a human this time, or is this just another plot twist waiting to happen? Realizing he's still got a few monster cells rattling around inside because nothing says hero like leftover villain upgrades. He's barely human, just look at those claws. He could headline a runway show for supervillains, and since the lab goons haven't shown up to collect him, our guy figures he's been ghosted harder than a bad Tinder date. He spots the missing lab number on his arm, finally free from Mad Scientist Central. Looks like he stumbled onto the classic Immortal monster cheat code. The type that keeps coming back to life unless you smash their core, of course. Third time's not always the charm. The scientist said humans and monster cells would never mix. Guess he's living proof they were wrong, flexing harder than Johnny Bravo at a mirror convention. Looks like whatever side effects he had are gone. No more brain fog, no more mind control chains. For once, he actually feels human. Now that he's no longer the loyal mutt called number 17, he's finally trying to remember what his actual name is. Suddenly, cue the cliché flashback. That cranky old scientist called him a lunatic charming, right? But still told him to go be a hero. The old man told him to save 1,000 lives, but our hero, deep in his brooding anime phase, gave him nothing but silence. Snapping back to reality, he scoffs. That advice? Absolute garbage. Because, really, who expects a slum-born orphan to play hero? Bathed in sunset glow, his abs are practically auditioning for a spotlight of their own. Revenge crosses his mind, but like every diet he's ever started, he lets it go. Revenge needs someone to aim at, but after all this time, our hero's grudge is just an old mosquito bite barely worth scratching. Not that it matters, getting back to the human world is about as likely as finding Wi-Fi in a dungeon. He shrugs off revenge for now. After all, in these stories, fated reunions are basically scheduled events, and sets his sights on the future instead. Behold. He's practically hypnotized by his own six-pack masterpiece, a heavenly light because even destiny respects censorship, strategically hides his naughty bits. He finally decides, time to live like a real human. Guess it's never too late for a redemption arc. As he walks away, it finally hits him. Maybe being the main character doesn't mean you get to skip pants day. On his quest for clothes, he's ambushed by an unexpected thought. He racks his brain trying to remember the last time he wore clothes. Spoiler alert, he can't. He does what any self-respecting barbarian would. He gets even more lost. He starts scanning the area because, of course, the hero's got built-in radar. Before long, his attention locks onto something suspicious. He spots a bird monster corpse up ahead. No wounds, just dead. He figures it must have been poison lucky break. The body's untouched, perfect for skinning. He imagines his arm transforming into a sword so huge. He's dramatically grabbing a butter knife. Flashback to the lab. Always slice from the belly first, then the limbs. Cheon dives in, one swipe, and it's off faster than a villain's monologue. The moment it cracks open, a suspicious purple gas oozes out. He notices the poison right away, but instead of panicking, he breathes it in like it's designer cologne. The worst part? That stench. Guess who's stuck doing laundry duty now? After some struggle, he finally skins the giant turkey. Hey, not bad for his first attempt. He marches down to the river because, in every story, someone's gotta wash something dramatic. This time, it's the hide. But as he pulls it out, he's instantly let down. It's stiff now, not soft like before. Suddenly, a galaxy brain idea smacks him upside the head. Inspiration strikes as he flattens the hide and starts pounding it like it just skipped out on Rent, mid-punch. He's just hoping this is how people tan hides, and not a shortcut to ruining everything he's done. Thanks to a little medieval TLC, the hide's softer than a noble's hands. Using the featherless bird as his makeshift privacy shield, he tweaks the hide with all the focus of a man avoiding an awkward wildlife documentary. Suddenly, a tiny flame pops up on the monster's head. The bird's eyes fly open. Guess it's not a fan of watching its skin get peeled off like last year's Christmas gift. Cheon Speed punches the hide, suiting up in his bargain bin armor. He wraps a vine around his waist, like he's about to launch a new jungle fashion line. He notices a splash of poison inside, but shrugs it off. Just when Cheon's sure the bird monster's toast, it screeches loud enough to shatter glass. It thrashes wildly. Hey, is it just me, or does this thing actually understand Cheyenne? Looks like this monster's an immortal too. No breathing, no problem. If this was the old days, he'd have turned it into Monster BBQ by now. But now, seeing it all weak and helpless, he decides, why bother? Typical villain move, kick them when they're down, then get lazy. Cheon just grins and shrugs. Guess that bird's luck stat is maxed out today. Making a wish for a do-over, then dramatically walking away. As he strolls away, he smirks. Hey, if destiny's in a playful mood, maybe we'll bump into each other. Not long after, he strolls into a cave, scoping it out like he's about to put down a deposit. Out of nowhere, a giant centipede crash lands in front of him. Cheon doesn't even flinch. He's less worried about danger, and more worried if the lighting's Instagram-worthy enough for his new pad. With a single swing, he lops off the centipede's head like he's chopping veggies for dinner. Swats a fly, sighs, and mentally adds this cave to the never again list. Now, he's suddenly dropped into a snowy mountain. A yeti lies sprawled on the ground, frozen in terror. Guess Cheon's entrance is scarier than any horror movie jump scare. Turns out, our guy threw hands with the yetis, then noped out because, surprise, snow cones aren't a real meal. He tries the forest next, but the mushrooms smell worse than microwave fish in an office. Hard pass. He dives headfirst into danger. First, a sketchy lizard cave. Then, a volcano that's suspiciously cozy. He reaches the cliff's edge, strikes the classic hero pose, and soaks in a view so stunning, you just know something dramatic is about to happen. He's floored. A demon realm this gorgeous? Somebody pinch him. He yeets himself off the cliff like it's just another Tuesday. Crashing down with a thud anyone else would need a chiropractor. Cheon spots crystal clear water and enough fish to start his own sushi bar. Monster fish launch themselves out of the water hoping for a quick snack. He eyes it like a marshmallow at a campfire. Maybe this is the ultimate grilling spot. Home to a built-in fish farm and air so fresh, even city folks might faint. It's a flower explosion. Did someone turn on the romance filter? He plants his flag and declares, this is home now, the legendary Cheyenne Du-Woon house, because every great story needs a mansion with a mysterious name. Far across the demon realm, the air crackles, because something dramatic always happens in the background. A portal tears open, and something blasts out like it forgot to knock, crashing down like a meteor because gravity's got no chill. From the swirling smoke, a robot dramatically appears. Scanning the area, they mutter, is this really the demon realm? He pauses, inhaling the fresh air and letting the riot of flowers dazzle him, because in Manhwa, you can't have character growth without a dramatic nature montage. He takes one look and declares, yup, this is prime real estate for Cheon Du-Woon's future mansion. He kicks things off by unleashing finger vines, felling the entire forest with one flashy sword swing. With the mess finally wiped out, with those trusty vines, he wrangles fallen logs like a bargain-hunting lumberjack, stacking them up for his grand construction project. Just as everything starts going his way, he spots the ground, because of course, it's suspiciously bumpy. He whips out those trusty vines again, and tidies up like it's his full-time job, uprooting every last stump because apparently, this forest won't rest until it's ready for a Pinterest cabin photo shoot. As he stacks the logs, he lays down the foundation because even epic tales need solid scaffolding. His body moves on autopilot and he can't help but wonder, so this is free will? Funny, all it took was building something that's actually his and not just IKEA furniture. Next up, he's laying floor planks. Monster nails? More like gooey claws. This beast swapped cuticles for slime. Since that gunk sets harder than my morning motivation, he figures, why not use it as waterproofing? Sounds like a win. With the main build done, he adds his own flair because every hero needs a signature touch. By tossing some silkworm threads on the roof. Now he's convinced the monsters won't come knocking, at least not until the next plot twist. The place finally feels cozy, almost like a real home, if you ignore the occasional ominous creak. But then he stops, wondering, Wait, what else do normal humans keep in their lairs besides existential dread? He remembers those lab days, when they'd watch videos of ordinary homes, back before Gates turned real estate into a monster mash. After some thought, he notices everyone here has a pet or a garden. Meanwhile, dogs in the demon world? Yeah, good luck finding one that doesn't breathe fire. He decides, why not become a gardener? After a classic anime-style overthinking session about what to plant. Suddenly, he has a classic genius protagonist, epiphany. Mandragoras are the answer. Perfect setting, there's even a snowy mountain next door, because, of course, every fantasy world needs one. Trekking through the icy wilderness, he suddenly recalls, mandragoras love mana-charged mountaintops. Snow heaps all around him, like the universe really wants him to star in a melodrama. Remember when he got snatched and shipped off to the lab? Funny enough, he now calls that his lucky break, Stockholm Syndrome, Manhwa edition. Now that he's a chimera, freezing or starving is old news. He's basically a walking survival kit. Sensing a surge of mana nearby, he figures he's getting warmer, and not just because he can't freeze anymore. Bingo! He finally lays eyes on those elusive mandragora roots. These guys are basically sunfish with salad hair, so delicate, even a change in Wi-Fi password could send them to the great aquarium in the sky. He figures, why not pick the young ones? They're like sponges, easier to move and way less likely to complain about back pain. He picks his top 3. He braced for the trademark banshee wails, but wait, where's the eardrum-shattering chorus? He spots the first little guy, out cold and snoring louder than a newborn. And the other 2? He'll just collect them later, like Pokemon, but with more drama. They're out cold, dreaming so hard they're giving away plot secrets in their sleep. It rattles him until he remembers Mandragora screams, pure lab-grown drama. Turns out, if you raise a magical root in a stress factory and yank it out, of course it'll scream. Wouldn't you? He wonders if the quiet's just demon realm etiquette, but come on, shouldn't someone at least try to escape? Unless, of course, they think he's one of their own. Demon family reunion, anyone? No wonder, he's basically a walking mandragora smoothie at this point. He slips them into his waistband with a sigh of relief. Finally, something in his life isn't freaking out. He starts plotting, maybe he can sweet-talk them into sharing some roots for tea. Or, if he's lucky, snag a fruity snack. He suddenly recalls, yanking the fruit means instant poison. Guess it's time to play the polite hero and wait for the right moment to ask nicely. Just then, he senses hunters lurking nearby and wonders, who in their right mind would climb this death trap of a snowy mountain, unless they lost a bet. He shrugs and goes to investigate. Hey, free gate stones are free gate stones. While one hunter gripes about being served up as monster bait, their teammates are already halfway to safety classic teamwork, right? His teammate yells, stop daydreaming, a stampede of killer bunnies is headed straight for us. Ravenous mutant rabbits lunge, mouths agape, tentacles, and fangs everywhere. Who knew bunnies could star in your next nightmare? But at the last second, our guy pops a force field, saving everyone from becoming monster chow. He quickly sees the barriers about as sturdy as his job prospects, and suddenly, cleaning gutters sounds like a dream. Haunted by his life choices, he's now screaming for help, because nothing says, oops, like a dramatic breakdown. Right on cue, his trusty shield to the rescue. Disintegrates like my weekend plans, gone in an instant. He drops in with a classic superhero landing, cue the dramatic dust cloud, and both hunters turn to statues. Jaw-dropping, he actually spots a real human. No, it's not just another hallucination. Materializes out of thin air, because why bother with doors? His aura alone sends the snow rabbits into a full-blown panic. Guess he's not exactly Snow White. They bolt faster than mice at a cat convention. The 2 hunters are left dumbstruck, watching B-class monsters flee in terror from a guy who forgot his shirt. Must be leg day. They practically tripped over themselves to thank him. Guess hero worship is a contact sport now. They strut in. We're Shongju and Kim Tai-hoon. And you are? He gives his name because apparently it's rude not to in Manhwa land. But to them, that name sounds like it was made up on the spot because, honestly, who named their kid that? Kim Tai-hoon jokes that, with his wild caveman look, he must be some hermit hunter, while our guy fires back, wondering why these D-class wannabes are strolling through a death trap like it's a Sunday picnic. They reveal they're hunting a chimera for a fat payday, instantly making our hero's eyes light up like he just heard about free ramen. Turns out, the chimera busted out of a lab and dove into a gate mid-escape, much to his relief. Guess he's not interesting enough to be hunted after all. He's like, seriously? No gear? Not even a gate stone? What did you do? Get robbed by your own team? And, surprise, the guy admits their trustworthy teammates ran off with everything. Classic team spirit, right? Turns out, backstabbing was on their to-do list from day one. Now he wishes he'd caught on sooner. Guess hindsight really is 20/20, especially in Manhwa. Our boy just stares at their gatestones in silence. Meanwhile, the hunters launch into their "we're doomed by mana" speech and practically beg him for an escape plan. Classic. Protagonists always get the save us hotline. Humans can only last so long in the demon world before they need a detox stay too long, and it's game over. One guy's even begging for help, pulling the classic, "but my pregnant wife" card. Before they can even finish talking, our guy pulls a classic protagonist move, freezing up like he just felt a cosmic plot twist coming. He launches into the sky like a budget Hulk, leaving their dramatic speech flapping in the wind. Meanwhile, the robot powers up somewhere else. Chimera teeters on the cliff's edge, because where else would a dramatic showdown happen? The very hunters who bailed earlier? Yep, now they're sneaking up from behind, because nothing says strategy like a surprise backstab. But then, the monster creeps in slow and dramatic, just like every horror cliffhanger ever. They dramatically whip around, because turning slowly is the only way to reveal you're the villain or just really bad at directions. It's not just mad, it's basically waving a giant "delete all humans" flag. He rolls up, eyes wide. Yep, he's already wondering if he's missed the party or the disaster. Ahead, blood and broken gear litter the ground, and a fading blue energy ball winks out by the cliff. Yep, classic hunter panic, drop everything and run. They ditched all their loot guess, even their getaway plan has a kid and animal combo. Looks like our test subject just pulled a classic transformation mid-battle, because why fight fair when you can surprise everyone with a glow-up? The monster hunter's words echo in his mind, lab experiment gone rogue dove, straight into the gate like it was clocking out early. Forged from rare liquid metal, it can shapeshift at will, but thanks to the sky-high price tag, they had to make it kid-sized. Guess even magical tech has a budget. Cheon peers over the cliff, stifling a laugh. Who knew this pint-sized tin can could clown 5 B-rank hunters? Meanwhile, our beat-up hunter duo is barely holding it together. Guess monster hunting isn't as glamorous as it looks. Kim frantically shakes Youngju, begging him not to throw in the towel. But Youngju, in classic tragic fashion, coughs that he's a goner contamination and all. Kim, refusing to read the script, brings up Youngju's family for maximum emotional damage. With his last ounce of strength, Si-young begs Kim to apologize for him. But Kim isn't having any of that farewell talk. Instead, he shouts, "Hang in there. Miracles are a staple of our genre." Suddenly, someone makes their grand entrance. Because of course, dramatic timing is everything. Kim freezes up faster than Wi-Fi in a basement. Cheon just waltzes back in, hauling everyone's bags like it's no big deal. Did someone order a walking plot twist? The monster hunter spots him, bolts over, and basically starts worshipping Daddy Cheon, like he's the last Wi-Fi signal in a zombie apocalypse. At first, our hero's lost, but then, the light bulb flicks on. Oh right, he told them he didn't have a gatestone. Classic protagonist memory lapse. Kim whips out 2 10 million yen checks, because apparently, cash solves everything and practically begs for a gatestone, ranting that if they don't escape now, they're doomed. Cheon eyes the cash, mentally calculating, because math is every isekai hero's secret skill. Useless here, but once he's back in the human world? Jackpot. Summoning every ounce of his chaotic generosity, he whips out a gatestone, because why solve problems when you can just open a magic door? Kim snaps into a perfect 90-degree bow, showering him with thanks like he's auditioning for Most Grateful NPC, and promises this favor will never be forgotten. The monster hunter bolts to his partner shouting, "We're out of here," while Cheyen's only concern is where to hide those checks, not the monsters. Priorities, right? On their way to the gate, Cheon casually asks about gatestone prices, only to find out they've skyrocketed to 1 million yen. Guess inflation hits dungeons too. Always the modest hero, he claims his paycheck's too big. Classic protagonist humblebrag, right? He casually drops a hand on Xiangju's shoulder, classic move, because nothing says, "Trust me," like surprise shoulder contact. He shrugs and offers spare change, because who needs dignity when you've got pocket money? Kim's confusion vanishes when he catches on. Kayan's pumping mana straight into his partner. Talk about a hands-on approach. He immediately shouts, "Stop," because sharing mana is basically playing hot potato with your life. If this goes south, they're both Toskyu Kim's panic attack. Just when you think it's game over, Xiangju pops up like someone hit Ctrl+Z, his demonic energy wiped cleaner than my browser history. He pulls Kim into a tearful bear hug, while Kim just stands there like a confused NPC, still buffering reality. Shei-in coolly walks away as Xiangju dramatically vows to remember this forever. Meanwhile, Kim's still stuck on level 1. Wait, who even is Shei-in? He stops outside his house, probably rehearsing a dramatic inner monologue because, no one just walks straight in. He exhales in relief. Guess the only thing sneaking in tonight is his paranoia. Mandragora plants begin to stir, though with those droopy leaves, it looks like they hit snooze on their alarm, again. Which, of course, sets off every red flag, so naturally he starts planting them like he's running a flag factory. He's hoping they'll be fine, but honestly, they still look like they lost a fight with Monday morning. Cheon eyes their gloomy faces. Are they homesick, or just hungry enough to eat a whole manhwa volume? Ready to play mad scientist, he zaps the dirt with a dose of mana, because what could possibly go wrong? The monster plants spring to life like they've just had their morning coffee, and our hero can't help but grin at his leafy little caffeine addicts. As he's bonding with his plant pals, he suddenly feels that classic spine-tingling, someone's behind me moment. He guesses it's that runaway robo-beast the hunters were after, but seriously, did it have nothing better to do than stalk him all this way? deciding to pretend it's not his problem for now. He pockets the cash and dives into the loot bags because every hero needs their own questionable inventory management system. Jackpot. He's now rolling in spare clothes, sleeping bags, and enough cooking gear to open a campsite, or at least not burn his dinner. His eyes go wide. Ramen spotted. Instant nostalgia overload, because nothing says happy childhood like slurping noodles at the orphanage. Stomach growling and excitement peaking, he dives straight into chef mode, because in manhwa, hunger always means instant gourmet. Doing his best to follow the recipe, he runs to the lake for water only to realize he's got no idea how much he actually needs. Guess he missed the measuring cup level up. Before he can overthink things, classic protagonist move. The sharp-toothed lakefish launch themselves at him, clearly angling for a taste test of their own. Thinking about how everyone turns ramen into a mystery stew with whatever's lying around. He cracks his knuckles and boots the soul right out of that unlucky fish. Guess it's sushi with a side of existential crisis tonight. Next, our hero forages for classic ingredients. Eggs, green onions, the works, until he stumbles on some bizarre, capsule-shaped eggs. Naturally, he grabs a handful. When in doubt, loot everything. With no green onions in sight, he grabs some tree leaves because, hey, close enough, right? He chucks it all into a pot because who needs recipes when you have sheer confidence? And then, cue the dramatic music. The tiny robot makes its grand entrance. Clutching its belly like it hasn't seen food in years, it eyes the cooking pot like a villain in a ramen commercial. While Cheon sparks up the fire, he realizes the instructions forgot the most important bit. When does the fish actually go in? Classic recipe suspense. He chucks it all in the pot and hopes for a miracle classic protagonist cooking strategy. The aroma starts sneaking out of the pot like it's trying to escape before someone eats it. The monster plants recoil, choking like they just tasted cafeteria mystery meat. Cheon silently questions if ramen's always had this hypnotic power, or if he's just really, really hungry. The aroma hits the robot like a freight train, and suddenly it's doing the hungry wiggle guess even machines can't resist snack time. It drifts in, eyeing the feast like it's about to crash a dinner party. And just like that, bam, instant isekai. He shapeshifts into an adorable puppy because, let's face it, humans are suckers for cute dogs, and hobbles over to Cheon, milking the sympathy card for all it's worth. Cue the classic pity me act, cue the fake whimpers. But Cheon, unmoved. She's got the emotional range of a brick wall. He doesn't bat an eye, he knows a fake injury when he sees one. Nice try, villain, but he's not falling for the oldest trick in the manhwa book. With those big puppy eyes, it's hard to believe this clueless furball broke out of a lab and made it all the way to the demon realm, must have used the ancient art of plot convenience. Grinning, he teases, want a bite of ramen too? Because apparently even ghosts can't resist midnight snacks. The creature starts drooling like it just spotted an all-you-can-eat buffet. Blocking their path is a bubbling cauldron of chaos. One sip, and even a seasoned warrior would be begging for mercy. Against all logic, and probably their better judgment, they both throw caution to the wind. As soon as they chow down, the dog stops mid-chew, clearly questioning its life choices. Meanwhile, Keon's already licking his lips, ready for round 2. Blasted by a memory grenade, cue the dramatic backstory sequence. Flashback to Hot Pot at the orphanage, because nothing screams bonding like communal soup and childhood trauma. He grins and says, tastes just like the good old days, because nostalgia apparently comes with seasoning. He calls it delicious, proving nostalgia can overpower taste buds, or maybe he just has a death wish. The Mendragoras are about to yeet themselves into the afterlife, all thanks to that deadly stench. Meal's over. Cheyenne tells the dog, alright, cleanup crew, you're dismissed. Guess even canine sidekicks have to clock out. The Rogal pup hobbles off. Guess someone forgot to install the walk without wobbling update. Cheon smirks. Funny, wasn't it limping on the other leg a second ago? Classic villain can't even keep their injuries straight. The robot quickly fakes its limp on the other foot. Cheon's barely holding back a laugh. Guess even robots get their lefts and rights mixed up. With the last plate washed, because every hero's journey starts with chores, he tackles the laundry next, whacking those pollen-soaked clothes with a stick, because who needs a washing machine when you can cosplay as your grandma? Not a pollen fan, but hey, he can't keep rocking leather like a prehistoric fashion disaster. He aims for a gentle tap to save the fabric, but oops, one swing and he obliterates the rock instead. Guess someone forgot to check their own strength stat. And just like that, the outfit's gone. R.I.P. to another shirt lost to dramatic power-ups. After an awkward pause that could win an Olympic medal, he sighs and grabs the last piece of clothing because, of course, it's always left to him. That's when he spots the robot creature, still lurking in the background, because apparently, personal space means nothing to robots. Just moments ago, it was pulling off its best rock cosplay. Previously, he was literally a fish scrubbing plates. Talk about climbing the food chain. First, it watched him as a tree while he watered the flowers. Talk about stalker vibes. Only now does he realize this shape-shifting creeper's been tailing him the whole time, never daring to come any closer. The chaos only stops when a bee crash lands on its nose, classic nature's way of saying, time out. It totally loses it, shrieking, I hate bees. Classic overreaction, as if bees are the real villains here. He guesses the creature's barely 5 years old, judging by its awkward, robot-level small talk. A classic move. Young chimeras with factory-installed memories. He pointedly clears his throat because nothing says, "I'm here," like awkward throat noises, and casually compliments the forsythia, as if chatting up flowers is totally normal in monster territory. After wrestling with the laundry, he sighs. Turns out, the clothes are too tiny for him. All that effort just to cosplay as a shrunken version of himself. He hangs laundry on a silk thread because even chores need style, then heads off to check on his misbehaving mandragoras. Seizing the perfect plot twist moment, the creature pounces, because monsters always have the best timing, don't they? Clutches the shirt, because in manhwa, that's how you assert dominance. Slips it on, hoping to channel his inner hero, because cosplay is the fastest way to a glow-up, right? After boldly claiming the shirt as its territory, it shapeshifts into, wait for it, a tiny human girl, because of course it does. Meanwhile, he spots the Mandragora kids losing a wrestling match with the dirt-wilted leaves, parched roots, and not a single weed in sight. Guess even magical plants have drama. Nosy as ever, he snoofs around and, surprise surprise, uncovers that the soil's basically a worm rave packed with debris. No wonder the plants can't catch a break. Turns out, skipping soil prep was a rookie move. He almost put the Mandragora kids in danger. Time for redemption. He's now digging up a garden big enough to fit his entire house. Because nothing says sorry, like extreme landscaping. Out of nowhere, the robot girl pops up and says hi, because every hero needs a surprise android encounter, right? He almost drops his jaw. Wait, she actually talks? She asks, "Is this your place?" He nods, like every mysterious male lead with a suspiciously nice house. She instantly pegs him as a Demon Realm local because, of course, who else shows up out of nowhere? Grinning, he decides to toy with her. He plays it cool and asks, "So, which tribe are you from?" And she looks at him like he just spoke in Alien. She bluffs, insisting she's from some far-off land beyond the waterfall, so secret he'd never find it. He just grins and asks, "What? Are you from the legendary coconut tribe or something?" She nods with the confidence of someone who just discovered water is wet. When he asks about his missing shirt, she shrugs and declares, "Finders keepers, it's tribal law." Amused by her logic and a little worried about his future laundry, he lets her keep it and wonders what brings her out here. She admits she got booted from her tribe and, blushing, wonders if she can crash at his place because nothing says romance like instant roommates. No bugs, a real house. Honestly, it's so safe here I almost wonder if I wandered into the wrong genre. She fidgets with her thumbs, practicing her best. "Please adopt me, puppy eyes, Oscar-worthy really." He figures, if she wants peace and quiet, she'd better earn it. No freeloaders allowed. Her eyes sparkle like she's just spotted free food, and she eagerly asks for her next mission, ready to go full action heroine at a moment's notice. He says it's time to build a veggie patch, because even mandragoras deserve a place to put down roots. She snatches the stick, strikes a power pose, and boldly declares, "I'm strong enough." Classic main character energy. She tears through the dirt like it owes her money. Goodbye, soil, hello, crumbled sponge cake. Watching her tear up the ground like it's tissue paper, he wonders, is she terrible at blending in, or does she think normal is a type of cereal? He awkwardly introduces himself and asks her name, only for her to freeze, because, oops, she literally doesn't have one. Classic amnesia or mysterious heroine moment. Fueled by flower power from earlier, she boldly announces, "I'm Kinnari." Never mind that she totally just stole Forsythia's name. But hey, fake it till you make it, right? Cheon whips up the patch and throws together a stone fence like a DIY pro. The Mandragora roots look so happy, he wonders why he didn't start this plant-parent life ages ago. But then, plot twist, Kim goes silent. You know something's up when the chatterbox hits mute. He spots the tears and, like every clueless male lead, blurts out, "Why are you crying?" She wipes her eyes and admits the Mandragoras remind her of her friends, leaving him stunned, as if friendship is some myth cooked up outside the lab. Before he can squeeze out another question, a piercing shriek slices through the forest. Guess someone skipped their inside voice training. He shrugs. It's just monsters eating monsters. Think of it as the local soundtrack. But Kim, nerves in a knot, whispers that she saw a baby chick before stumbling into his hideout. Now she's worried it's headed straight for disaster, because nothing ever goes smoothly in these stories. Cheon nods, and she points out it's already been bitten. He shrugs and says, "Well, it's probably on the menu again soon." Ah yes, the circle of snack life in manhwa, today bitten, tomorrow digested. Seeing her shake like a leaf, he realizes she wants to help, but just can't. When she whispers, "I can't save monsters," it clicks. That brainwashing still got her in a mental headlock. Instead of playing puppet master, he slyly suggests, "Hey, if you head back, that little chick might just make it." Wow, Subtle must have read the manual on not being an overbearing main lead. And just like that, she went from zero to Olympic sprinter. Guess motivation really is everything. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, mutant wasps with double-decker nightmare teeth are on the hunt because apparently, regular bugs just weren't scary enough. The vultures are circling the wounded chick. One swoops in for the dramatic finishing blow. Because, of course, villains never wait their turn. Kim storms in, fueled by enough caffeine to kill a horse, and drop kicks a head clean off. Guess someone skipped leg day. She's dead set on rescuing that chick, even if it means starring in her own dramatic slow-motion scene. In the heat of battle, she's hit with a lab flashback. Turns out, being the undefeated champ in combat trials didn't win her any friends, just a front-row seat to resentment. The other Chimera kids? They got rewarded with nightmare experiments, because who doesn't love high-stakes science class? They yoinked her plushie, knocked her down, and whined, "Simon, let us win for a change." Classic sore losers, right? They kept kicking her, saying the world would be better off if she didn't exist. Classic. She was just following orders and still got blamed. Facing the monsters, she shouts, "Hey, ever heard of fair play? Ganging up is so last season." She throws a punch and launches the final wasp flying. Guess that's what you call a real buzzkill. Soaring headfirst into yet another dimension, because walking is just too mainstream. Meanwhile, Cheon's at home, channeling mana into mandragora roots, just your average day as a reluctant plant dad. Kim bursts back onto the scene, sprinting at him like the heroine in a K-drama. Cue the slow motion and dramatic music. Clutching the chick like it's the last donut at a police station, she screams for help. Total panic mode. Meanwhile, he calmly tells her, maybe try breathing first? Zooming in for a better look, because squinting is apparently a superpower now. There's something oddly familiar about this tiny furball déjà vu, or did I just watch too much anime? Kim's in full meltdown mode, bawling like the world's ending because apparently one sneeze from that fluffy critter means instant doom. Cool as a cucumber, Cheon volunteers to check it out because in every manhwa, there's always that one guy who pretends curiosity is bravery. He dramatically extends his hand because in every good manhwa, reaching out solves everything. He channels a dash of mana into the fuzzy floof, then breathes easy. Turns out, it's just a scratch, not a tragic backstory in the making. Each monster's magic comes with its own dramatic backstory because of course it does. Even after shrinking and pulling a chameleon move, this one's still in the spotlight. Cheon recognizes it in a heartbeat. It's the very beast he turned into a fur coat last time. Guess some monsters just can't take a hint. He channels his inner Sherlock, dramatically deducing the mystery of the shrinkage, while Kim's in the background, already planning the funeral. Cheon laughs it off, saying the creature's not cursed, just hangry and in need of a snack. He claims he's pumped it full of mana, so unless someone gets too nosy, it'll heal itself. Because in manhwa, mana is basically duct tape. But wait, cue the classic trauma flashback. Kim's brain yanks her straight back to that creepy lab because no one in manhwa is safe from dramatic memory whiplash. To her poor, shredded doll guess, even toys can't escape manhwa drama. Her voice trembling, she protests, "We can't just ignore it, it's flopping around like a depressed pancake." She clutches it, unleashing those legendary puppy eyes, and begs to keep it, swearing she'll actually be responsible this time. Cheon grins, teasing, "Careful, it might get out of control." But she shoots back, "Relax, I'll just give it a snack, what's the worst that could happen?" Famous last words in every manhwa, ever. He crumbles under her adorable onslaught, her eyes practically set off fireworks. He jokes, "Hey, who needs a guard dog when you've got a guard bird?" And just then, the fluffy critter blinks awake, scanning the room like it just got isekai'd into a world without snacks. The gaze zeroes in on Cheon. Guess he's got main character written all over him. He lets out a low, ominous crow because every villain needs a dramatic sound effect. Kim leaps at the noise, squealing, "It's talking at last." Meanwhile, the bird scans the room like, "Great, what fresh nightmare is this?" She squeezes it tight as it flails like a fish out of water, while Cheon just stands there, mentally buffering through the chaos. The fluffball shrieks, "Let me go!" And Cheon nearly drops it. Stunned, he can actually understand the little furball's tantrum. Seconds later, Kim mummifies the wound in bandages and declares, "All healed," because nothing says medical expertise like overkill. She proudly announces she's already named it. Since it waddles like a pigeon, she's calling it Ku. Cheon nearly loses it, apparently. Bird puns are his weakness. The furious bird loses its feathers over Kim's absurd name choice. Guess someone woke up on the wrong side of the nest. She has no clue what it's saying, so she dumps a bucket of water on its head because, hey, maybe it's just thirsty. She stops, baffled, and asks Cheon, "Why does the bird look like it just lost a bet with a water balloon?" He tells her she's more waterlogged than a drowned rat, so she bolts off to hunt for food instead. Cheon finally realizes it's time for a storage cabinet because apparently Mountain of Junk isn't a valid interior design style. But the moment he swings his axe plot twist, the wood fights back. It falls apart faster than a discount cardboard box in the rain. He's baffled. He built a table and chair using the same method, no problem. Guess furniture crafting is easier than plot armor. The fluffball's had enough of this circus. He deadpans, "It's soft wood, genius. Obviously that's not gonna work." Cheon suddenly wonders if wood color means power, so he asks. The bird doesn't even pause. Redwood, obviously. Guess even in fantasy worlds, red means danger. But then, bam, it freezes, realizing, wait, did someone actually get what I was saying? Reality check, achieved. It gapes at Cheon in terror. Has he been eavesdropping this whole time? Or does he just have protagonist-level hearing? Its eyes meet mine. It staggers upright like a newborn deer trying out its legs for the first time. It flexes its psychic powers to read Cheyenne's mind, only to get radio silence. Guess Cheyenne's thoughts are on airplane mode. Chiyoung glances around, all wide-eyed innocence and deadpans. Red trees? Sorry, my color radar's offline. He's busy daydreaming about exotic plants, while the bird's having an existential crisis. Turns out, its psychic powers just hit a brick wall. Finally, it ditches the mysterious act and just blurts out, "Ichion, can you hear me or what?" Guess subtlety's overrated. Chion shrugs. It's not like I hear voices. The words just pop into my head, rent-free. But then he pulls the classic move, asking, since when do monsters speak fluent human? Guess Rosetta Stone works for everyone these days. He's pretty sure this bird's one of those ultra-rare genius monsters. You know, the kind you only hear about in legends or over-exaggerated forum posts. But this is his first time seeing one in the wild, and it's staring right at him. K-On cuts to the chase. Wait, is this the same bird? The fluffball admits it. Yep, I came back just to see you. Guess even magical birds can't resist a reunion episode. Because Shane saved its life, now it's stuck with a lifelong debt classic. You saved me, now I'm your sidekick. Logic. Chion skips the pleasantries and demands help on the spot, leaving the bird more shocked than a sidekick in a shonen plot twist. But its size? Even the air pauses for dramatic effect. She agrees to guide him to the red trees because, of course, strangers are totally trustworthy in Manhwa. Meanwhile, just around the corner, Kim sprints for dear life, fireballs exploding at her heels. She's basically auditioning for Dodgeball, Apocalypse Edition, while shouting at her mystery attacker to chill out. Tears pour down her cheeks as she wails, "It's too hot." Classic drama queen move. Out of nowhere, she's launched face first into the dirt gravity's way of reminding her who's boss. Her brain blue screen's panic mode activated. She's convinced the labs tracked her down and it's game over, or is it just another Tuesday? Suddenly, out of the flames strolls a figure with hair so dramatic, you'd think they were auditioning for a background role in a bargain bin anime. Checking his tracker, he realizes, yep, she's the runaway robot they've been hunting. Honestly, was there ever any doubt? Powering up for another attack, he grumbles, "Hey, it's not like I have a spare life either." He hurls yet another fireball at Kim, because one's never enough in these showdowns. He can only watch in despair, but just as it's about to land, our hero goes full Chad, blocking the attack like he's just shooing away a pesky mosquito because why break a sweat? Ku shuts him down fast. Finding the tree can wait. Rescuing the damsel in distress takes top billing. Because, of course, priorities. Cheyenne spots Kim freaking out at the tiniest spark. Yep, sanity is definitely on vacation. He rushes to douse the flames because, let's face it, only a total villain picks on kids. Even the fluffball knows that. Rapunzel shoots Chion a death glare, calls him a caveman, and promises to clobber him if he doesn't back off. Guess someone skipped charm school. Chion snaps back. For a Rapunzel wannabe, you sure love the sound of your own voice. Kion pushes his buttons, and the guy loses it, yelling that Chion's wrecking his big dramatic moment. Seizing the chance, he launches a fireball so huge, even insurance can't cover the damage. Chion lifts a single finger. Yep, he's pulling a classic Frieza, minus the purple skin. He swats the attack aside like he's blowing out birthday candles. Guess someone's wishing for plot armor. Rapunzel stands frozen, jaw dropped, as a Michael Bay-worthy explosion erupts behind him. Guess processing danger isn't his strong suit. Debris rains down too late for our hero to dodge, unless he's secretly mastered time travel. Crushed beneath a mountain of debris, guess it's just another Monday for our hero. Moments later, Cheon strolls over and checks if Kim's alright. She dabs her eyes, thanks him for playing firefighter, and gets a classic pep talk. Next time you're scared, try punching your fear in the face. Because in Manhwa, violence really is the answer. He strides right up to Rapunzel, hopefully not just to comment on her split ends. Yanking him by the hair, he keeps the motivational speech going because nothing says encouragement like a surprise scalp massage. But then, bam, he freezes mid-sentence. Did he just realize he left the stove on, or is this another classic dramatic pause moment? He silently glares at the wig in his hand, questioning all his life choices, because nothing says plot twist like unexpected hairpieces. Kim lifts the wig and, bam, he's greeted by a blinding bald dome. Shiny egghead syndrome strikes again. She bursts out laughing. Guess Mr. Scary isn't so terrifying after all. He sneaks a look at her, baffled. How did anyone this fierce ever get bullied by a total NPC? The Phoenix Fluffball swoops in, flexes its mental resonance powers, and gives him an instant replay of Kim's greatest hits Trauma Edition. He's got a memory dive skill. Think of it as Netflix, but for everyone's embarrassing flashbacks. In his vision, cue the classic mad scientist lab coat, wild hair, and probably plotting his next world-ending experiment. Laughing like he's auditioning to be the final boss. The mysterious stranger strides up to a groggy Kim, just as she starts rebooting her mental Wi-Fi. His fingers spark up like he's auditioning for the Human Torch. He calls it a durability test, but really, it's just his excuse to play the villain classic Manhwa logic. Cheyenne ruffles Kim's hair with a proud grin, telling her, nice job. Looks like he's signing up as her personal trauma-busting coach, one baby step at a time. He glances at the tiny phoenix and deadpans. So, what's our move with Humpty Dumpty over there? Kim's eyes sparkle. Uh-oh, that's the, I've got a plan, look. They team up to tie this unlucky guy to a boulder big enough for his existential crisis. Kim leaves him dangling over a waterfall, because nothing says cool down like a splash to the ego. Apparently, a little water is all it takes to turn a fire breather into a soggy kitten. He wakes up, totally baffled like, wait, did I download the wrong life update? Kim folds her arms, teasing, bad bald man, as if it's his villain origin story. Our guy just sighs, can we not judge by hairlines please? She shoots him a death glare, brandishing that pot like she's about to unlock a new cooking-based combat skill. Gu raises an eyebrow. What are you up to? Kian, already in full protagonist mode, replies, grabbing water for ramen. Heroic deeds start with noodles after all. Kim's eyes light up. Cheon's fish ramen is her kryptonite. He teases, hey, does the legendary coconut tribe eat ramen too, or is that just your thing? She strikes a pose and announces, the coconut tribe is absolutely nuts for it. While the bald guy sizes up his predicament, he figures only an A+ rank hunter, or maybe someone with even scarier hidden powers could have nabbed him. Guess Cheon's not just hiding his hairline. While everyone hunts for ramen fixings, Mr. Chrome Dome just stands there, perfecting his 1,000-yard stare. Dangling a guy off a waterfall while you casually slurp noodles? That's next-level villain energy. Even anime villains are taking notes. Kim rockets out of the water, clutching 3 fish monsters like a budget kaiju at a seafood buffet. Our hero eyes her catch and deadpans. Pick one, unless you think I'm opening a seafood stall today. The bald guy stands on the sidelines, equal parts horrified and baffled, secretly wondering if tossing that fish monster into ramen would just make it taste like seawater, because apparently, culinary curiosity knows no fear. He spots the ramen drowning in water and wonders if these guys think they're making soup, or just inventing a new way to ruin noodles. Before they whip up a recipe for disaster, he shouts, let me go and I'll cook for you, because apparently, hostage negotiations now come with a side of stir-fry. Baldy strikes a pose at their wobbly wooden table, as if he's about to deliver an Oscar speech. Someone cue the dramatic music. He's whipping up drama like he's the star chef on an imaginary cooking show, minus the actual audience, of course. He grumbles. People say ramen's basic. Clearly, they've never faced a noodle crisis like this. With his fate hanging on one bowl of food, he nervously meets a room full of hungry stares. No pressure, right? He declares ramen the food of the gods and sticks to boiling water, mostly because his cooking skills end there, pouring water purely on gut feeling. 3 portions, no measuring cup in sight. When it boils, guesswork, the true chef's secret weapon. With the flair of a ramen chef in a shonen manga, he tosses the noodles in because instant noodles solve everything, right? And, of course, the secret weapon soup base. He figures it'll take about 4.5 minutes, give or take a heartbeat or two, so, lacking a watch, he goes old school and uses his pulse as a stopwatch. After counting a dramatic 200 noodle heartbeats, because, of course, every hero measures time this way, he finally lets the noodles breathe. That satisfyingly bouncy chew, because every hero needs an OP noodle, right? He finishes up and sighs. If only I had kimchi, guess my meal's missing the real main character. Stuck in the demon realm, instant noodles are basically gourmet. He shows off his ramen like it's Michelin-starred. Their jaws drop, classic deer in the headlights moment. Let's jump in, no life jackets needed. One bite, and they're already booking a one-way ticket to taste paradise. Kim, sporting that classic fluffball face, looks like he just discovered food was invented yesterday, and he's personally offended no one told him sooner. Cheon, on the other hand, devours his meal like he's training for an eating competition, because who needs table manners in a manhwa? The squad lounges around, bellies full, looking one bite away from a food coma. Meanwhile, the bald guy's stuck loitering like a side character waiting for screen time. Cheon eyes him and says, name your price for these heavenly noodles. Anything goes, except my soul. I'm using that. The bald guy doesn't hesitate. He's on his knees faster than you can say, main character aura, begging Cheyenne for guidance and blurting out his name, Nam Gi Seok. Our hero squints, eyebrow raised. Guidance? Is this another secret cult or just Monday in this world? Nam admits Cheyenne's the strongest person he's ever met. Honestly, the kind of guy who'd build a whole house just to train. Must be nice having gym membership and real estate in one. He brags about being a master chef, waves around imaginary credentials, and even drops the classic, I worked with my dad as a fry cook, as if that's his Michelin star. Nam, desperate to look helpful, volunteers as the delivery guy between humans and demons. He even offers to pay for lessons. But let's be real, he just wants that sweet A-class hunter status. Of course, our clueless hero demands, why'd you deck Kim? As his villains ever give straight answers. Nam stammers, wait, you mean that robot thing? But before he can finish, Cheon jumps in, nope, she's from the legendary coconut tribe. Robots wish they had her style. Nam doesn't miss a beat. He plays it cool, like he knew all along. Of course, he claims his attack was personal, because in manhwa, it's always personal. He wasn't in it for cash, glory, or even the brat. He just wanted to ace that hunter promotion exam. Hey, everyone needs a hobby, right? Cheon folds his arms and, classic tough guy style, challenges him to a spar before Nam can even get a word in. Kenari strides up, boldly demanding a rematch with the fire-chucking uncle because apparently, round 1 just wasn't enough chaos. Nam flashes a cocky grin classic bad boy move and tells her, "Careful, I'm full of surprises." Cheon pipes up, "So, can I smash an adamantite boulder?" Guess he's been watching too many shonen training montages. Tougher than diamond, because plot armor needs an upgrade. Nam says only A-class hunters stand a chance, and before he can even finish his sentence, bam. Kim obliterates the rock because why use a pickaxe when you have main character strength? With one slick move, his ego skyrockets, classic protagonist energy. Nam was basically born with cheat codes. He unlocked his powers at 8, while other kids were still losing sleep over their times tables. From that day on, he trained like a man with a demon on his tail, skyrocketing through the ranks so fast, veteran hunters started updating their resumes. At just 20, he'd already climbed to B+ class. Guess puberty hit him harder than most hunters. He wanted to be the top hunter, yeah, the kind whose name gets whispered in every realm like he's the Wi-Fi password. Fate had other plans. While everyone else awakened their powers, his hairline awakened and promptly filed for divorce. By his 20s, his luscious locks had already ghosted him. Rip, hairline. Until he was rocking a gleaming dome and a hairline so receded, it clearly surrendered first. He blew his life savings on every miracle cure out there, until the doctors finally said, "Buddy, your wallet's out of luck, time to face the music." In a single swoop, our dashing genius lost it all: his fortune, his pride, and, yes, even his luscious locks. Turns out, confidence is as fragile as a bad hair day. With that gone, his hunter glow-up hit a brick wall. Guess it's time for a classic shonen training arc. Everything changes on one totally ordinary aka suspiciously fateful day. He stumbled onto a TV interview with Dr. Han because fate loves reruns. A mad scientist stumbles on a strange liquid metal in the demon realm because nothing ever goes wrong when you mix science with dark magic, right? Turns out, Grandpa tripped, spilled the potion on his bald head, and voila! Now he's rocking a shampoo commercial mane at 90. Who knew clumsiness was the secret to eternal hair? Nam was so hopeful, he almost burst into tears. Guess he's not used to good things happening. When the host asked if he could whip up a baldness cure, because who needs hair in a manhwa anyway? Turns out, the doctor used the mysterious liquid to whip up a robot, because who needs FDA approval when you've got mad scientist energy? Nan nearly lost it, insisting the world needed a baldness cure way more than another fancy robo-vacuum priorities, people. A few days later, because trouble always finds a shortcut, the machine creature broke loose and bolted straight into the demon realm. With zero laws in the demon realm, he went after it, because who wouldn't want to cause chaos where there are no rules? Ready to drop molten metal right onto his shiny dome, guess that's one way to polish a bald head. Reality hit him like a truck. Only this time, the driver was a kid. Nam's punches miss by a mile, and Cheon deadpans, "Train harder. Maybe then you'll actually hit me." Nam, ever the underdog, vows to level up. Meanwhile, our hero tackles a redwood shelf because every protagonist needs carpentry skills, apparently. Big thanks to Goo, a resident genius, or maybe just the guy with too much free time. He shoots a look at Nam. Honestly, after the beating he's taken today, I'm surprised he's still standing. He's got that classic silent protagonist, stare, cool, collected, and probably plotting something epic. He casually conjures a flaming scythe, no big deal. Goo quips, guess Nam's got a knack for playing with fire. He's still getting schooled by a kid, ouch. Cheon just shrugs and reminds him, Kim isn't your average grade schooler. With every punch, it's like the universe put up a neon sign, this guy's definitely not losing. Nam lunges ahead, scythe blazing, because why settle for a regular weapon when you can wield something on fire? But Kim pulls a classic escape move, melting into liquid before he can even say, wait, what? She has her redemption arc and boots him straight to next Tuesday. He smacks straight into a cliff because, of course, gravity in manhwa is always extra dramatic. Kim squares her shoulders and declares, "Fire? Please, I'm over it." Nam stares at the ceiling, dazed, questioning if he's finally hit his anime power cap. Against all odds, he dusts himself off because quitting is for side characters and boldly demands a rematch. But he freezes. The classic nosebleed strikes again. Chan eyes him and asks, "So, how long have you been stuck in Demonland?" Nam wipes his face and sighs, 9 days, but hey, who's counting? Our hero warns, stick around and the mana will fry you. Nam just nods, guess he's not a fan of glowing in the dark. Cheyenne drops the bomb, you could be A-class, you know. Nam's jaw hits the floor, guess he wasn't ready for his shonen protagonist moment. He used to think anyone flunking the hunter exam for 3 years was a lost cause, until he clocked in 6 failures himself. But Cheon tells him to hang in there, his mana's just going through its awkward teen phase. Once he's back, a little purification might do the trick. Nam bows deeply and calls him brother because every hero needs at least one bro in their corner. Cheon swears he'll turn him into an A-rank hunter, because who doesn't want their own overpowered sidekick? Nam's barely at the portal before everyone's yelling for ramen like it's a grocery run, not a trip between worlds. Kim grins, tells him to stay safe. Nam shoots back, promising he'll beat her next time. Yeah, sure buddy. Right before diving into the portal he pauses, classic asking if anyone's seen his wig. Cheyenne? Totally clueless, as usual. Once he makes his dramatic exit because, of course, everyone in Manhwa needs one. Gu raises the age-old question, can we really trust Nam, or is he just here for the snacks? Cheon squints, care to explain that, or are we speaking in riddles now? The tiny furball warns, Nam might stab us in the back and bring a hunter party. Cheon just shrugs and asks, so, what's your vibe check on the guy? Gu just gives a silent nod because in Manhwa, actions speak louder than plot twists. Cheon's excitement to train Nam goes through the roof, while Kim finally asks if he can actually talk to the walking cotton ball. Cheon just nods, like it's the most normal thing in the world. He brags that he built the shelf following a bird's advice. Yes, a bird. Then he asks if the room looks tidy, but Kim admits it was too dark to see, so much for showing off his DIY skills. Cheyenne catches on fast, she throws in a couple windows, and boom, instant sunshine upgrade. Kim grins. Guess someone's loving their glow-up. Now our boy's got a new mission. How do you keep the room lit after dark? Kim's already asking, are we supposed to summon a magic lamp or something? Cheon casually drops, we need glowstones, you know, those crystals that basically moonlight as fairy lights. He wants to turn the ceiling into a DIY galaxy, but Gu's already sweating bullets. And where are we getting those? Cheon grins. Simple, we're heading to the volcanic region, because nothing says home improvements like a trip to a lava field. Gu shoots him a look. That place? It's a hunter's nightmare and, lucky me, it's also where I grew up. Cheyenne catches how Gu's voice goes from welcome home to I pay rent with my trauma. Kim's caught on someone cue the dramatic zoom. She shoots Cheon a look and asks, well, what did the bird say? Did it insult your hair or something? Cheon teases Gu for being scared of a little volcano, then bravely volunteers to tackle its solo classic hero move, right? Kim's like, fire? Please, I'm over it. Move aside, I'm coming with you. Cheon looks at Gu, who lets out a dramatic sigh, because of course he does, and says he'll tag along, claiming he's got errands to run there anyway. Suit up, Cheon's on gear duty, and the squad's itching for their next big quest. Let's hope they pack snacks this time. Andragora roots frolic in the fields with Nam's lost wig, blissfully clueless that they're partying with a symbol of heartbreak. Deep in the volcanic wilds, the ground shakes. Uh-oh, looks like something big just hit snooze under all that lava. From the blazing inferno, a creepy beast pops up and screams, because apparently hell needed a soundtrack. They say even the gutsiest hunters wouldn't touch the volcanic zone with a 10-foot pole. It's one of the demon realm's top 3 nope zones. The air's so thick with scorching ash, you could skip the barbecue and just cook yourself. That fiery gas? It's torching lungs like marshmallows at a summer camp instant meltdown. Meanwhile, Kim's soaking her toes in molten lava like she's at a spa day. The tiny phoenix? Speechless. Guess even firebirds can't handle her heat. The tiny furball shrubs off the blazing heat. Guess that's just part of being non-human. But what really fries his circuits? Our guy Cheon is chilling like it's air-conditioned. Cheon just grins and says, I'm a chimera hunter. Well, that explains everything, sort of. Don't be fooled by his human disguise. After his dramatic glow-up, he basically respawned like a boss-level villain. He asks the Phoenix if it wants to join the crew, and the tiny fluffball's like, hey, anything's better than solo queue. Eavesdropping on their deep conversation, because every webtoon needs at least one mysterious heart-to-heart, right? Kim jumps in, ready to join the chat. Then it hits him, she once grilled him about his mysterious past. Classic, right? The secret backstory always comes back to haunt you. She just laughs it off, saying, no need to pretend, I already know you're a fellow Demon Realm native. Looks like secrets don't last long in this world, huh? Next up, our heroes begin their epic volcano hike because nothing says smart decisions, like scaling an active mountain. Kim spots a suspiciously dramatic plume of smoke rising from the mountaintop because of course trouble comes with special effects. At last, jackpot. They spot the glowing stones, mission accomplished, unless something's about to jump out. Meanwhile, down below, a giant flame toad is ugly, crying like it just failed its fire-breathing test. Suddenly, Kim spots yet another one lurking close by, because trouble loves company. Master Gu puts 2 and 2 together. Turns out, the male toad's in mourning because his mate didn't make it. Worse, her back is loaded with eggs that are about to get hard-boiled thanks to the scorching ground. Talk about a tragic omelet. The floofball mourns fate's cruelty. Someone get this fluff a tissue. That's when our hero has a lightbulb moment. He tells Kim, hold my noodles, I'll be right back. Plunges headfirst into the volcano's fiery maw, because who needs common sense in a manhwa? He drops in, face to face with the world's grumpiest amphibian. She shoots him a death glare, guess someone skipped anger management class. Out of nowhere, the beast coughs up a fireball big enough to ruin anyone's day guess. Someone skipped breakfast. But he just jogs right through the blazing inferno. Guess fire resistance comes standard these days. He pokes the toad's nose with his finger, because every epic quest starts with booping a frog. One little tap, and the giant beast drops like it forgot leg day. Cheyenne went full snake charmer and used cobra venom so strong it could KO even a poison-proof flame toad. Don't worry though, it's just a quick nap, not a permanent vacation. He strolls out of the fire without a scratch. Kim can't believe it and asks if he's alright. Of course he is. Apparently, fire is just a suggestion to him. Because he's got flame toad cells in him too, at this point, the only thing he hasn't been injected with is common sense. He spots a few eggs already fried, rip breakfast dreams, but he guards the rest like a mother hen on a mission. When Papa Toad finally decides to roll out of bed, he discovers a bunch of eggs strapped to his back. Guess he's the world's unluckiest delivery guy now. He rushes over to mourn his partner, because in every manhwa, there's always time for dramatic goodbyes. The creature pulls a classic shonen move soaring sky high, like gravity's just a suggestion, crash landing right next to Kim because, of course, it's always Kim. It shoots her the classic, I wish I could, but plot says no, look. She brightens up, totally convinced the bird just dropped a thank you, because apparently she speaks fluent pigeon now. Cheon knows it's staring at its true love, but hey, let the featherbrain have its fantasies. Kim suddenly whips out rocks, because when in doubt, throw geology at your problems. Almost the size of her whole head, because, of course, who needs proportion in a manhwa? Careful, not even plot armor can save your toes if you drop that. Once a boulder-tossing legend, the phoenix now flops to the ground. Apparently, nostalgia weighs more than rocks. He waves him off, saying, "Don't worry about me, go live your main character life with your friends." That instantly ruffles the fluffball's feathers. He squawks, "Monsters don't have friends, like he's ever met one, right?" He's only here to drop off gifts, not make buddies. Turns out, even brainy monsters get the lonely blues. Our hero, caught off guard, stammers that he's only here because he missed his chance at a dramatic farewell. Guess he's not just fighting monsters, but his own regrets too. The phoenix suddenly dials down the sass, uh-oh, serious mode activated. His genius let him see the world's wonders. Too bad it also came with a side of existential dread. Forced to watch the others chow down like zombies at an all-you-can-eat buffet, he couldn't help but feel alone. Like Einstein trapped at a monkey convention. Desperate to ditch his loneliness, he bailed on the herd, and honestly, he couldn't care less if they survived. It's not like they ever invited him to the group chat anyway. The baby phoenix wrestles with the stubborn rock wall, because apparently, even magical birds have bad days at the gym. It suddenly breaks loose and crashes down, because gravity loves drama. Kim jumps at a sudden crack, looks down, and boom, explosion on the floor. She's stressing, convinced the phoenix turned it into instant ashes. Classic mythical bird problems. Our hero points out, the shell's built-in hard mode only by struggling over and over does the little one level up enough to break free. No cheat codes allowed. Kim, feeling sorry for the baby, suggests bringing it home only for the tiny phoenix to burst out, squawking, "Trust me, you do not want me hatching in your living room." Cheon suddenly recalls the perfect nest, because every adventurer has one lying around, so he decides to bring it along. Kim's over the moon lugging the egg around, while Goo freaks out. He's never seen anything this weird. But when Goo tries to protest, Kim shuts him down fast. Well, maybe it wouldn't be cracked if you hadn't fumbled it. Classic blame game. Someone get these two a may know for teamwork. With the hero's promise and a wink, our guy tells the fluffball, "Don't worry, I've got your back," because what's a manhwa without a dramatic vow? Onward they dig. Once they finally make their dramatic comeback, because, let's be honest, no one ever returns quietly in a manhwa. He's shocked to find the bald guy still hanging around. Guess he's waiting for a plot twist, or maybe just some hair growth serum. Nam puffs up his chest, boasting he's strong enough to carry the bag, right as Chan warns him it's basically a portable gym membership. Nam's bag crashes to the ground. What is he hauling? A sack of bricks, or just his hopes and dreams? But then our hero spots tears. Yep, tough guys cry too, and softly asks, "So, what's with the bandage? Bad breakup with gravity?" Turns out, our guy wasn't expecting to be the type who collects bruises instead of victories. Guess he's on a punch card for beatdowns. Red-faced and flustered, Nam bolts off to prep the food classic move, because nothing hides embarrassment like chopping onions. Kim, eyes wide with curiosity, leans in and asks, "So, what are you crafting with that glowing rock? Secret weapon, or just a fancy nightlight?" He says he wants to use it as a light bulb, because who needs regular lamps when you've got mysterious artifacts? Kim's jaw drops. Guess galaxy brains really do exist. Helping out the flame toad? This guy's heart is so big it needs its own manhwa arc. She laughs. Wow, you're basically Dad 2.0 now. But the moment he brings up her coconut tribe dad, Kim finally learns when to zip it. Miracles do happen. Cut to, conveniently close by because fate loves drama. The phoenix is just vibing in the sunset because even legendary birds need their golden hour. Out of nowhere, he's ambushed by a 3-tier villain totem pole. Guest stacking is back in style. The top mandragora pulls a classic Fall Guy, move bouncing right off its friends below. He charges in with his signature drill attack, because, of course, it's always about the drills. The pint-sized menace ricochets right off the sunbathing marshmallow. Guess nap time beats nap attacks. Nam dishes out the latest TikTok famous sweet potato snack, because apparently, kids these days are fueled by trends and tubers. He's way too proud like, it's just instant noodles, but you'd think he invented fine dining. Kim and Goo? Totally blown away, jaw-dropping levels of impressed. But before anyone can dig in, Cheon's hungry for answers, not food. Nam's lips are sealed, classic protagonist move, right? Soon enough, he sheepishly admits he got busted by a bunch of A-rankers while just trying to hand in his job application talk about a rough interview process. They told him to stop stealing their aura by breathing their air, so naturally he threw hands. Classic, step on an MC's oxygen and you're asking for a beatdown. The rest? Well, that's legend. Nam confesses he snapped when they asked if his self-respect was receding faster than his hairline. Ouch, talk about a low blow. Cheon wants to know when the next test drops. Turns out it's in 60 days. Sensing an underdog montage coming, he offers Nam some one-on-one coaching, and our bald buddy lights up like he just found hair growth serum. But his excitement shatters the moment he learns his heroic quest starts with dish duty, courtesy of Kim. So much for saving the world, let's save the silverware first. Now he's stuck scrubbing volcanic dust off those shiny stones. Guess our hero's new power is housekeeper. He asks about the special training, and our guy just hits him with, do it, unless you want B-rank loser on your resume forever. And just like that, he heads off fishing with Kim, while poor Nam, destined for Manhwa sidekick misery, drowns in hard work instead. Contrary to popular belief, yeah, I know, shocking, right? He's the classic overachiever powered by sweat, tears, and way too many motivational monologues. Relentlessly charging forward like the ultimate Chad giving up isn't in his vocabulary. He drags the suspiciously heavy bag into the woods, because nothing screams totally normal like a midnight forest workout. Cut to the river, Kim's fishing rod is as empty as her patience. She couldn't catch a fish if her life depended on it. She's green with envy as Mr. Clean lands catch after catch, while Nam desperately calls for backup. Turns out, water monsters are his kryptonite. Chaeyeon can't help but roll his eyes at his own epic uselessness. Protagonist material, right? She tells him, just slap a magic barrier on yourself. But our bald friend still can't get his head or scalp around it. Cheon hands him the crystal, because, of course, nothing suspicious ever happens when someone says, hold this for a sec. The instant his hand grazes it, because, of course, who can resist touching the mysterious glowing object? His arms go limp. Guess all those push-ups were for nothing. They start shaking like leaves in a K-drama storm. Turns out, our hero's secret sauce is a super rare magic rock, because of course it is. Nam's got enough magic power to light up a city, but zero clue how to use it. Then, right on cue, he pokes Mr. Clean in the chest. Suddenly, he unlocks X-ray vision for magic. Guess those glowing veins aren't just for show. Protagonist 101, Nam, just let the magic vibes ride those circuits. Sure enough, his arms start glowing with that classic silver aura, because, of course, every power-up needs special effects. He tells Nam to grab the stone again, this time with a little mana magic in those arms. Because apparently, lifting rocks is now a magical workout routine. Summoning every ounce of his bald guy power, he unleashes those legendary Saitama genes, because who needs hair when you've got raw strength? He hoists it overhead like he's auditioning for the world's angriest gym commercial. Nam cackles like a madman. The classic chores have a secret purpose. Twist strikes again. Our hero just tells him, keep scrubbing and channel that mana while you're at it. The bargain bin One Punch Man accepts the job, crying tears of joy, probably because it pays more than the thrift store ever did. As darkness falls because, of course, all the dramatic stuff happens after sunset. Beneath the glowing stone, our trio snoozes because nothing says good night like magical mood lighting. Goo's wide awake at 2 a.m. Turns out that power nap turned into a full-on sleep rebellion. But out of nowhere, his danger senses start tingling, catching Kim sneaking out under the cover of darkness. Classic ninja move, minus the smoke bomb. He trails Kim outside only to catch her staring at the ground like she's about to discover the meaning of life in a sidewalk crack. Devastated, her one and only dress is now a mud magnet. She kneels by the stream, scrubbing away like her life's a laundry detergent commercial, hoping this time the stains, and her regrets, will finally come out. The baby phoenix stares in silence as Cheon shows up, baffled by her midnight laundry session. Goo just rolls her eyes. What does he expect from a girl with a one-outfit wardrobe? Cheon freezes. Turns out ignoring fashion is fine for him, but maybe not for the girl who's been stuck with his zero-style choices. Kim struts out of the water like he just discovered soap mission accomplished. Goo and Cheon are just hanging out nearby. Cheon, ever the smooth operator, pretends he's only there to enjoy the night breeze. Classic, I'm totally not stalking you, move. He claims he's just strolling with his fluffy sidekick. Classic excuse. Then, like every awkward love interest ever, he asks if she's out walking too. She just nods, all shy and adorable. Cheon suddenly hits pause, because hey, drama always needs a good cliffhanger. Cinches her waist with a classic rope belt, because who needs designer fashion in a fantasy world? Kim's eyes light up as she tucks in a few flowers, grinning. Hey, it even looks like you, because nothing says floral fashion like accidental self-portraits. With a sly grin, Cheon declares, Forsythia's my favorite. No, really, I'm not just saying that because you're here. Kim jumps as the bushes rustle because in manhwa, it's never just the wind. Cheon just nods, as if saying, trust me, when am I ever wrong in these stories? Just a measly steel grasshopper, yep, not even the cool mutant kind. On the walk home, he asks if she needs new clothes or shoes, with a tone so dad-like, you'd think he was about to ground her for staying out late. Kim blinks in confusion, awkwardly admitting she actually likes the outfit plot twist, right? At sunrise, Cheyenne sneaks into the human world's District 13 slums, because where else do protagonists go for character development? Kim's still rocking his one outfit. Hey, every protagonist needs a signature look. Locals throw him side-eye, but he's too oblivious to care. Wishing he'd brought Kim to choose her own stuff, then remembering, yeah, welcome back to the human world, probably isn't her ideal shopping trip right now. He smirks, scanning the slums for a clothing shop, because nothing says fresh start like bargain bin fashion. Just as a plucky kid pops up because there's always a plucky kid. Demands a suspiciously specific 10,000 won for the ride, because apparently $1 makes all the difference in manhwa logic. He brags about knowing a cheap spot. Kan just hopes they take IOUs until he finds some spare change. So, naturally, the boy thinks he's just another broke newbie who got mugged by fantasy world pickpockets. Usually, I charge up front, but for you, I'll make an exception. Come on, let's get you some actual clothes. Got any money, by the way? Cheon grins as the kid says he's Bong-soo, but before Cheon can even finish his own name, Bong-soo just declares, I'll call you Big Brother, because apparently everyone needs at least one surprise sibling in a manhwa. As they stroll through the slums, Cheyenne can't help but notice all the changes. Guess gentrification comes for everyone, but before he can finish his thought, Bong-soo blurts out, did you just awaken or something? Cheon just smirks, does he really give off newbie vibes? Bong-soo shrugs, hey, popping out of a portal with no gear? Classic rookie move. I figured Cheon got mugged by demons. Don't sweat it, happens to the best of us. Cheon laughs, wow, Bong-soo, for a kid, you sure know a suspicious amount. Bong-soo, clearly triggered, protests, I'm not a kid, I'm 17. Blame my size on years of tragic cafeteria lunches, not my age. As they stroll along, Cheon spots a pack of sketchy thugs lurking nearby, because what's a slum without some ominous background extras? Bong-soo catches his look and hisses, don't even think about stepping into District 13. Ever since the District 11 space gang took over, even the cops ghosted the place. We're in District 12 now, the safer side of the slums. Relatively speaking, of course. Cheon listens in silence, secretly betting the District 13 orphanage is either a pile of rubble or somehow now a villain's secret base. Meanwhile, at a tiny clothing shop, the classic buy one get one free sign tries to lure in anyone who thought they escaped side quests. The owner looks wiped, clearly regretting her choice to open shop in a town where raising a goldfish is a financial stretch, let alone a kid. Despite her shelves overflowing with kids' clothes, she sighs, wondering if it's time for a total business makeover, because who needs another tiny sweater crisis? The door swings open, with a classic horror movie creak, because of course it does. Bong-soo bursts in with a bright, good morning, Madam Park, only to get an earful, I'm not married, quit with the madam nonsense. He just chuckles, unfazed, and says he's here for Cheon's wardrobe crisis. Classic misunderstanding, seriously, when will these guys learn titles? Our hero beelines for the merch because obviously destiny waits in the clearance section. Park yanks Bong-soo over, giving him an earful for bringing another broke hunter into her shop. Her unpaid tab pile is already tall enough to ski down. She tugs his cheeks like a mom with a grudge, while Bong-soo squirms and insists, hey, how was I supposed to know if the guy was loaded? The shop owner eyes Cheon and jokes, you don't exactly scream, walk-in ATM, you know. Bong-soo points out, hey, at least the guy's good looking. Plus, you told me to find tragic hunters who remind you of your dear, departed brother. Park snaps back, I only said that once or twice. Keep this up and we'll both be living under a bridge. Bong-soo snaps, I never asked for your help, but Park just sighs, channeling every tired babysitter ever and tells him, go wash up, I'll pay you after. Cheon strolls in, cooler than a cucumber, and casually drops a 10 million check on the counter, because who doesn't carry their entire life savings in their pocket when shopping for new threads? Both Parks are outguessed the site couldn't handle that much Park power. Bong-soo, utterly gobsmacked, someone fetch him a new jaw. Park snaps to attention, going full model employee mode, while Bong-soo scrambles to lay out cookies and drinks, because nothing says VIP treatment, like emergency snacks. Bong-soo wraps a napkin around Cheyenne like he's prepping him for battle, while Park rattles off their fashion menu from runway models to tiny tots. But Cheyenne, he just orders preschool dresses, a couple outfits for himself, and shoes, because why not shop for your inner child and yourself at the same time? Park lights up. Kids' fashion is her secret superpower. She launches into a whirlwind tour of the latest spring and summer styles, ready to dazzle like a runway mom. Even lace makes a dramatic entrance, because, of course, every fantasy world needs a little flair. Ah yes, the classic, just rolled out of bed hero look, casual wear. A sea of pink floods the scene as Bong-soo hovers, kneading his shoulders with the energy of a caffeinated intern. Park's practically bursting with joy at checkout. She's one smiley face away from a confetti explosion. After selling out almost everything, she offers to ship the clothes, but Chaeyeon, ever the overachiever, insists on hauling his mountain of shopping bags himself. He tosses Bong-soo a suit and 100,000 won because apparently the debt tracker in this world never runs out of pages. Bong-soo nervously guides Chaeyeon to the so-called safe inn, because nothing ever goes wrong in a mysterious inn, right? Chaeyoung steps inside, cue the dramatic lighting. Bong's mind races. Who just hands out cash and clothes like it's Halloween? Is this kindness, or a classic trafficker trap? Still, a tiny voice wonders, could Cheon actually be a nice guy, or is that just crazy talk? Park-esque as ever, Cheon steps outside, gives the innkeeper a thumbs up, and actually compliments the cleanliness. Shockingly rare in places that aren't plot devices for food poisoning. With a sly grin, he tosses Bong-soo a key. Looks like our hero's street. Sleeping days are officially cancelled. He smirks. Paid a year upfront, meals included. Try kicking me out now. With that, he spins on his heel, ready for his dramatic exit. Bong-soo whispers, is this how people end up on missing posters? Cheon shoots him a look. Hey, you dragged me into this mess. Just as the portal flares to life behind him, because of course portals always show up at the most dramatic moment. Bong-soo eyes Cheon suspiciously. What's the catch? You barely know me, but you're already showering me with gifts. Are you secretly my long-lost sponsor? Cheon admits the boy's struggles hit close to home. He's been there, done that, got the trauma. With a final take care, the portal whooshes him straight back to the demon realm. Nam breathes a sigh of relief as Cheon strolls back, only for Kim to sprint over, demanding, where'd you vanish off to, Houdini? Cheon just grins and reveals he went gift shopping for her cue, instant sparkle eyes and a smile that could power a city. Goo's jaw drops at the Everest-sized pile of laundry he just dragged home. Guess someone missed laundry day for a month. Nam's busy sulking over his lack of presents, while Kim, she's practically squealing at the dresses. Someone get her a fashion blog. Cheyenne flashes a gentle smile, encouraging her to pick any outfit she likes. Meanwhile, everyone else is busy fangirling over the fashion show. Tucked away in the cozy log cabin, yep, there's a mysterious egg just chilling like it owns the place. Something's waking up, and you know that's never good news in stories like this. Folding laundry shouldn't feel this zen yet. Cheon's never been so at peace. Who knew fresh threads could double as therapy? Kim bursts out of the room in a silk dress and ribbon hat. She's basically a pocket-sized princess, and yes, she knows it. Cheon leans in, eyebrow raised. So, is this your top pick, or what? She blushes and admits, can I try on a few more? Because in Manhwa, one outfit is never enough. Her brave suspender pants debut? A total fashion disaster. Cue the tragic violin. She sneaks into Cheon's shirt and goes full-budget ghost mode. Oscar-worthy, if the Oscars had a category for cheesy pranks. She's on an outfit spree, spinning so fast, Gu and Cheyenne can barely keep up. And honestly, at this point, they're just here for the fashion show. Kim finally settles on her favorite hoodie, because nothing says fashion statement, like a giant chick that looks suspiciously like Gu. Cheon orders her to stash the clothes, and she nods like the world's most loyal sidekick. The Phoenix squawks, got a secret wardrobe dimension, Cheon? Because we're about to drown in outfits here. Cheon grins, promising a deluxe walk-in closet to solve everything, while Gu's face drops, realizing it's bad news for the local trees. Sorry, Forrest, fashion comes first. Cheon smirks and announces, don't worry, I've already got a labor slave. He yells for Nam, declaring it's time for some extra special torture. Training. Nam bursts in, brimming with energy, and drags Cheon's leather suit along, claiming it's training gear, because nothing says hard work like sweating in leather. Cheyenne's face says, wait, did I miss the plot twist memo? Nam reveals the suit's covered in poison. Yeah, he nearly dropped dead just trying it on. Fashion really is deadly these days. He can't believe Cheon's been rocking the same outfit every day like it's his superhero costume. Meanwhile, Cheon's just thinking, laundry? Never heard of her. He just tosses it to Nam like, you wear it, leaving Nam frozen because apparently plot armor doesn't cover embarrassment. Cheon tells him to suit up and start chopping wood. Gu, ever the helpful sidekick, offers a tree tour. Nam, convinced the outfit is a death trap, protests, but before the bickering can turn into a full-blown drama, Kim shouts, the egg's moving, because in Manhwa, even breakfast comes with a plot twist. The whole squad comes running, because, of course, no one in a manhwa ever just walks anywhere. Cheon grins and drops the bomb. It's about to hatch. You know, because nothing says relax, like a mysterious egg on the verge of chaos. Nam, sweating bullets, worries it'll be a disaster-class monster, but Kim just shrugs, betting it's something adorable. Classic duo, one's panicking, the other's expecting a plush toy. The egg splits with a dramatic crack. A tiny eye pops out, already judging its new world. One freaks out, the other stays cool. Classic duo move as the monster inside begins its grand entrance. A clawed nightmare slithers out because, of course, monsters never use the front door. a body covered in scales because apparently clothes are optional when you've got built-in armor, and a tongue sharper than a chef's knife. But, plot twist, Name's worries were all for nothing. A bizarrely cute chick-snake hybrid tilts its head and chirps, because why not add nightmare fuel that's also huggable? Nam is stuck in shock, while Kim's bouncing like he just won the lottery. Out of nowhere, the tiny critter rockets forward, because why walk when you can surprise attack? Right into Nam's unsuspecting mug classic. He screams so loud, even the raccoons outside are filing a noise complaint. Out in the fields, Gu bonks Nam on the head with a stick to speed him up. At this rate, Nam's not sure if he's working or just losing his mind. Every breath burns as the poison creeps in. Meanwhile, Cheon wore this suit like it was pajamas. Cheon wraps up laundry duty protagonist by day, domestic hero by night. Kim bursts onto the scene because why walk when you can make a dramatic entrance? With a grin, Cheon points out that the monster's munching on bread and behaving like a perfect pet. Guess it knows who its hero is. After a round of epic brainstorming and zero originality, they christen it Sasa, because apparently, if it slithers, you name it after a snake. As soon as they pick a name, the tiny monster does a surprise jailbreak from Kim's hands. She chases after it, while Gu watches, relieved they're finally acting like friends. Well, as friendly as a manhwa rivalry gets. As Cheon wonders if the phoenix can ID this mystery beast, since he's clueless, Gu just shrugs and says, nope, never seen it in my life. Guess encyclopedic knowledge wasn't included in the martial arts training. But tells Cheon, keep an eye on those mandragora roots, unless you want a screaming plant surprise. Cheon hits him with the classic, but why? Gu spills the beans. Fiery region beasts go wild for plant monsters, especially the supercharged, demon-flavored ones. Guess even monsters want a taste of the forbidden salad. A tiny snake sneaks into the mandragora patch. Clearly, it didn't get the memo about dangerous plants. Gu drops the bomb. Looks like we're on the menu. The crowd holds its breath. Yep, it's another classic showdown brewing. Kim jumps in, ready to play hero, but Cheon just sighs. Sorry Kim, in the demon realm, they don't do rescue missions. Monsters have to flex their dominance. Solo guess it's never too early for a power struggle. He figures, let's just let nature and maybe some flying fists take its course. Sasa charges in, claws out, aiming straight for the tiniest mandragora. Guess size doesn't matter when you're picking fights. But the bigger guy jumps in like a human shield. Guess that's his job description. The mandragoras strike a dramatic triangle pose, because why just attack when you can coordinate like a boy band before the real action kicks in? No time to breathe. The second root monster charges in, ready for round 2. Guess villains never wait their turn, huh? Sasa's tail blocks the attack with a smug grin. Guess someone's feeling invincible. But Gu gives a classic warning, don't get cocky just yet. Just then, the tiniest mandragora leaps out like it's auditioning for a surprise attack, size definitely not matching confidence, delivers a pint-sized punch to Sasa's cheek, more tickle than knockout. Sasa bursts into tears and sprints away, classic overreaction unlocked. Kim rushes in to soothe the panicked critter. Guess he's the team's official animal whisperer now. Meanwhile, Cheon declares Mandragora roots the champs. Nam and Gu admit it. The fight was a real spectacle. Guess even rivals need popcorn sometimes. Cheyenne orders everyone back to work, while Gu resumes his favorite pastime, giving Nam's shiny head a good smack. Seriously, that thing's a workplace hazard. Soaring above endless waves, an eagle Chimera zips by, because every epic story needs a flying beast making a dramatic entrance, dashing like they're late for their own plot twist. Meanwhile, back at the classic mysterious house, because where else would the plot thicken? Gu's at it again, cheering Nam on to yank that timber like his life, or at least his pride depends on it. Kim and Sasa slather the wood in monster slime, because who needs waterproof paint when you've got gooey plot armor? Cheyenne folds the last shirt, surveys her spotless kingdom, and finally breathes out, another epic laundry saga complete. After 2 sleepless nights, Nam finally chucks the cursed leather shirt because nothing says fashion disaster like a side of madness. He inspects the brand new changing room with the precision of a detective, just to make sure it didn't magically build itself wrong overnight. Before his self-doubt can spiral into a renovation montage, Cheyenne smirks. Wow, you actually exceeded my low expectations. Miracles do happen. Kim catches a whiff of flowers in the air. Uh-oh, is a mysterious beauty about to appear? Before long, everyone notices the soothing scent. It's so flowery, she can't help but ask, did someone spill a garden in here? Cheyenne reveals Gu's secret. He picked a fancy-smelling wood, so your wardrobe now doubles as an air freshener. Talk about multitasking. Kim grins, amused that even the Mandragora roots can't resist joining the party. Sasa took a whiff and looked way too happy. Guess it's not every day you find a scent that isn't plot conveniently poisonous. Nam blinks in confusion. Turns out, Sasa is news to him. Cheon just shrugs, saying, hey, if anyone thinks of a cooler name, let's upgrade, because in webtoons, names are about as permanent as a villain's defeat. Nam wastes no time. He blurts out, let's call it Snake Chick, because every monster needs a catchy name, right? Kim throws out the classic, let's use PIAC, because when in doubt, acronym it out. Cheon finally turns to Gu, who, puffed up with confidence, suggests the oh-so-epic name, Grand Footsteps in the Drawer. Because nothing says power move like furniture, right? Cheon, dying of curiosity, asks for Gu's real name, only to hear Rocky Mountain Horseshoe. After a long, confused stare, Cheon decides it's safer not to question whatever naming fever dream this is. He proclaims, it's staying Saw, and, shocker, not a soul dares to argue. Ji-U leans in, all serious, so, what's our next ridiculous quest? Cheyenne admits he's suddenly worried about something that never crossed his mind back when he was a proud, lonely hermit. He's convinced a fence will keep out intruders, because, in Manhwa, a wooden barrier is obviously stronger than plot armor. Nam's face says, yeah, sure. He jokes, who'd walk into this nightmare zone on purpose? Not even the main character's that brave. Cheon insists, hey, better safe than Monster Chow. S ranks love surprise entrances, whether they're monsters or hunters. Gu nods, stroking his chin like every genius in a manhwa, and says, let's use something packed with demonic energy. He brags that the coast's yellow quartz is so dense, even black stone gets an inferiority complex. With that glowing stone as the fence, he says, their home will be both sturdy and softly lit at night like living in a 5-star campsite, s'mores not included. Kim leaps for joy at the word beach. Meanwhile, Nam's soul practically leaves his body. Guess someone's more scream than sunscreen. Just as he's scrambling for an excuse, the classic nosebleed swoops in to bail him out. Talk about timing. Playing the helpless damsel, he begs Cheon for a trip to the human realm. Apparently, it's time for his regular demonic energy detox. Cheon agrees, but only if he babysits the mandragora roots. Demons need chores too, you know. As Cheon gets ready to go, Nam warns him. Even A-rank hunters steer clear of the coast unless they're tired of living. Cheon's face says it all, surprise, or maybe he's just reconsidering his life choices. Nam lays it out, 2 disaster-class monsters run this place now, Chimera hunters cooked up in a lab, rocking bird faces on human bodies. Guess someone took, early bird gets the worm, way too literally. Even Cheon freezes. Now that's when you know things just got real. Down by the coast, a squad of hunters is already chasing the Chimera, because apparently, monster hunting is the new beach sport. Charging up a tracker shot, because why aim when you can let the bullet do the thinking? He chucks it straight at the airborne monster, someone's been practicing their fastball. Score, that attack hit dead on, someone's not dodging like an MC today. But the creature, not even a blink, just keeps cruising like it's late for an appointment. Believing the monster's running away, the hunters drop their guard. Apparently, Disaster Class was just clickbait. One genius even proposes chasing it down to pad his monster-slaying resume. But their leader shuts them down. Why rush in like clueless extras? He insists they wait for the monster to head home, revealing there are actually 2 chimeras around. Turns out, it's safer to track both than to get ambushed playing hero. A rookie hunter pipes up, wait, how are these chimeras still kicking after 60 years, and why do they look more like gym bros than monsters? The captain scoffs, they're just flops from an old Save Humanity project. Chimeras gone wrong. Sure, the successful ones got trophies, but the rejects? Time for the trash heap. Out of nowhere, a hunter's eyes go wide. Guess who just spotted the boss monster? Slicing through the sky like it just remembered it left the stove on, blasting back faster than the plot's logic. The captain's eyes bug out, classic panic mode, and he yells, barrier up, now, with a single, dramatic wing flap because subtlety is for side characters. The Chimera smashes through the hunter's barrier like it's cheap glassware, shards everywhere, and our heroes flat on their back. By the time they caught on, they'd already RSVP'd to their own defeat party. The captain's eyes bulge. He yells, stop, because screaming always works in these situations, right? Right as the blow's about to hit, because of course it is. Kim pops up with a shiny metal shield, because every hero needs an upgrade, and blocks the attack like he's done this 100 times. The Chimera freezes mid-leap. Apparently, it didn't expect to run into its doppelganger at rush hour. They tiptoe down like they're entering a dungeon, because in Manhwa, every stairway is a boss fight waiting to happen. Kim's convinced Uncle Sparrow's the bully here, but Cheon's face says, sure, if by bullies you mean getting bullied. An injured hunter frantically radios his captain about a robot monster. The captain's confusion only clears up when the hunter flashes his tracker. Guess you gotta see it to believe it in this job. Cheyenne's eyes widen. Of course, Kim's still rocking that human realm tracker like it's the latest fashion. He faces the bird Chimera and says, remember me? Because every villain needs their dramatic reunion moment. Reminding it they were old roommates. Wait, what was our room number again? The creature's eyes went wide, like it just remembered the rent was due. Cheon says, live long enough and you'll see it all. Meanwhile, the Chimera's over here trying to remember what it had for breakfast. The hunters huddle up, already plotting their heroic escape because bravery is overrated, right? Cheon smirks. Letting them run just means double the headaches later. Let's wrap this up before it turns into a sequel nobody asked for. Suddenly, the Chimera has a flashback, because what's a dramatic moment without a conveniently timed memory? Cheon's scent hits like a flashback, instantly dropping them both into that lab side by side, just like in every tragic backstory ever. That unmistakable stench Chimera cell fusion drug, straight from the TDA labs. Uh-oh, the plot just thickened. The creature greets him with his old codename, Number 17. Guess some nicknames just haunt you for life. Flashback time. We're whisked to the past, where Bird Boy dashes through the woods, his sister hitching a ride, as usual. That's when his sister's limited edition side effects from the experiment decided to make a dramatic entrance. He couldn't help but wonder, had bringing her along been a genius move, or his dumbest decision yet? Maybe I should have just left her in that cursed lab would have saved me a world of trouble, and probably some therapy bills. Every week, his sister can't help but remind him, those wings are basically portable heaters. He breaks down, realizing his only superpower is crying. His wings are too puny for a two-person getaway, so he tells her, hang tight unless you've got a secret parachute. Just as he secretly wished for a hero to magically appear because, let's be honest, miracles are a genre requirement. He stumbles straight into our hero because, of course, nothing says stealth, like blinding someone with a flashlight. Bird Boy squawks, what are you doing here? Cheon, cool as ever, says, just here to warn you, heard the bosses say it's your turn to get trashed. Birdhead's only response, man, you sound like a weirdo. He drops a harsh reality bomb. Both of them are set to explode in 3 days thanks to the detonation curse. His advice? Ditch the sister. She's not on the hit list and can just keep popping suppressant pills. Cold but practical classic villain logic. But Bird Boy claps back. Easy for you to say, you've never had to deal with the side effects. Classic case of, you don't know my pain. He recalls that one disaster, so epic, even his sister was like, run for your life. She'd rather squeeze in one last day of freedom than spend another minute rotting in that so-called home sweet hell. The moment he figures out that living well beats living long, boom, his wings pop out like they heard the life lesson too. Eyes blazing with pure stubbornness, he snaps. Less talk, more smackdown. Cheyenne hits him with that classic, I could not care less, stare. Then, bam, a wild gate appears out of nowhere. Birdhead can't believe it. How did a lowly lab rat like him score a gate key? Did someone mix up the protagonist's scripts again? He locks eyes with him and lays it out, step into the demon realm, and either your human cells get demon fried, or your demon side wakes up like it just had a double espresso. He figured it was a safe bet the detonator wouldn't go boom as long as he stepped into the demon realm. Yeah, because that always goes according to plan. But Birdhead couldn't help but question if anyone could actually survive in that death trap, or was he just the next guy in line for a cliché tragic backstory? In a perfect world, you'd shield both your body and mind with magic. Too bad these kids can barely cast a basic spell, let alone pull off that level of wizardry. Birdhead, never one to turn down a gamble or a snack, accepted the challenge. But as he headed out, it hit him. After all this time as roommates, they didn't even know each other's names. So, in true awkward hero fashion, he finally introduced himself, You Biome. In classic protagonist fashion, our guy dropped his name like it was a secret move. Back in the present, our hero asks the hunter's name, only to get a blank stare. Guess amnesia is trending this season. He asks why he's even here, but they just stare at him like confused NPCs, completely clueless. He chucks them into the portal, and, of course, Yu nails the answer on the first try. Guess he read the script. He unleashed his oblivion flower cells, poof, 3 hours of memories gone, like your browser history after a late-night binge. He calls out Yu's name. Instantly, Yu looks like he just got knighted by the king himself. Kim's like, wait, is Mr. Sparrow my new BFF? But our hero just drops. Nah, he's literally from the Sparrow tribe. Because in Manhwa, everyone's got their own clan, even the birds. Bro turns to Kim, asking if the Sparrow and Coconut tribes are actually buddies. She nods so fast you'd think she was trying to break a speed record. Yu's still processing the plot twist when Kim blurts out an apology for mistaking him as the villain classic case of judging the book by its cover, or maybe by its tragic backstory. They head to Yu's place, which, plot twist, is basically a giant bird's nest with a fancy roof. Guess some people really do live like birds. The gang dives into a weird clam dish because in Manhwa, food is always an adventure and occasionally a biohazard. It's a flavor explosion they never saw coming. Take that, bland cafeteria food. Kim's ready for round 2. But Yu sheepishly admits he's out of ingredients. Guess it's game over for snack time. Unfazed, the pint-sized goblin races off, determined to snag twice the clams because why settle for enough when you can overachieve like every overpowered protagonist? With everyone else out of the picture, it's finally just the two of them. Cue the awkward silence. Yu shrugs off his survival in the demon realm. Turns out immortality cells are pretty handy when everything wants to eat you. Without missing a beat, he asks Cheon if he's ever daydreamed about serving cold revenge to the lab. Cheon confesses he's thought about it, occasionally, but hey, when life's good, why rush the villain arc? Then he flips the script back to Yu. He claims the detonation curse is still ticking inside him. Basically, he's a walking firework just waiting for showtime. But forget all that, our guy's real concern? Yu's a pro at flying, but can he turn his head back to human, or is he stuck as a part-time pigeon forever? Yu confesses he could, but refuses. After all, his sister's stuck with a new face for life, and he'd feel like a jerk if he went back to normal while she couldn't. Sibling solidarity, or just classic protagonist guilt? After all that drama, our hero finally asks, so, you do realize you've only got a month to live, right? Because nothing says shonen like a ticking clock and a death sentence. You can't believe he knows that. Plot twist. Even he's surprised by his own script. Birdhead hits us with a classic flashback, because what's a manhwa without dramatic backstory? This time, it's all about life after leaving Earth. He grinded mana like a caffeine addict just to outlast the demon vibes. For a while, his magic and the demon realm's energy played nice, like two cats pretending not to hate each other. One day, his sister's mana went wild and blew a hole in her magic talk about a rough power surge. In his heroic attempt to save the day, he accidentally wrecked his own core talk about backfiring. Ever since, he's barely scraped by, while his sister's gone full, Sleeping Beauty napping her life away on magical fruit just to keep her illness at bay. That's when Shion suddenly remembers, mandragora roots can fix any mana hole no matter how busted it is. Talk about a miracle cure, huh? Meanwhile, in a classic dark room full of mystery and fruit for some reason, Birdhead's sister sits alone, perfecting her brooding in silence face. She starts off with a silent shiver of pain because, of course, suffering in silence is practically a main character requirement. But then, surprise surprise, the demon energy goes haywire, hijacking her body and turning her into a full-blown villainess faster than you can say power-up gone wrong. Yu's jaw drops as the boys drop a bombshell. Turns out, his incurable condition might just need a different doctor or a plot twist. After you ditched him, our guy went full alchemist, brewing mandragora root tea to patch up busted mana holes. Who knew heartbreak was a prerequisite for magical med school? Turns out, the roots may look tiny, but they're basically the plant's energy drink packed with almost all its life force. So, yeah, size doesn't matter, at least for roots. Shion thought he was just growing houseplants. Turns out, he was cultivating the gold mine. He even volunteers to whip up the potion himself because, surprise, you're banned from the human world and their fancy alchemists. In return, he dumps the responsibility of babysitting his two clueless sidekicks. Good luck with that. Before leaving, he asks how to pay. Too bad his wallet's emptier than his future. He hands over a backpack bursting with every hunter's must-have. Seriously, it's like a loot box exploded in there. Our hero's back on Earth first order of business? Dragging his ride-or-die, Bong-Su, on an alchemist scavenger hunt, because apparently Google just doesn't cut it in Manhwa. Bong-Su recalls, because someone always does, that a shiny new branch popped up in the slums last year. As the kid spills the beans, Cheon spots sandbags strapped to his arms, and Bong-Su grins, bragging that lugging them around is his secret training hack, because who needs a gym when you've got gravity? The kid straight up declares he'll be as badass as his big bro, ready to punch his way through the demon realm, no fancy gear required. Guess who's gunning for the overpowered main character club? Outside, Bong-Su spills the tea. The new manager's a legend. Apparently, their resume is more impressive than most protagonist glow-ups. No one shows except the manager, anxiously pacing like he's late on his loan, which, surprise, he is. Bong-Su clocks the loan sharks in a heartbeat, while the kid just shrugs, because in the slums, getting hounded for money is basically a business expense. Once a legend at the city branch with 20 years of spotless service, the manager suddenly got booted to the slums. No reason, no warning, just classic corporate mystery box style, Bong-Su claims, so you know it's about to get interesting. His old boss? The guy could sniff out a coin from a mile away. He stole so much from the slums, even the rats filed complaints. He figures the manager got booted just for having the guts to snitch on the resident dirtbag classic case of shoot the messengers. Just then, the perpetually exhausted manager locks eyes with Bong-Su. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. His face flips from gloom to glow. Did someone just hand him the protagonist script? The kid blurts out, my big bro's hunting for an alchemist, because apparently asking nicely is overrated. With a pro-level aura that practically screams boss battle, the manager ruffles Bong-Su's hair and, grinning, ushers them both inside. Guess we're all NPCs in his world. Elsewhere, an alchemist is dying of boredom. His boss couldn't run a lemonade stand, and the shop's been emptier than a villain's apology. His whining? Instantly silenced. Guess he saw the protagonist's glare. The manager strolls in with Cheon, snaps his fingers, and suddenly the assistant manager's a barista classic power move. No time for chit-chat, our guy cuts to the chase. You're an A-rank alchemist, right? Whip up some purified mana water from mandragora roots. Guess subtlety isn't his specialty. The manager's jaw drops. How does Cheon know his rank? With a sigh, he confesses he's fresh out of anything top tier. Maybe next time, Cheon. That's when our guy whips out a mandragora root oozing so much demonic energy, you'd think it was auditioning for a villain role itself. Both alchemists are stunned. It's so fresh, you'd think it just clocked out of work. And now, let's talk about everyone's favorite part, getting paid. Cheon just nonchalantly tosses out top-tier coastal loot. Someone check if he's got a secret treasure chest. Their jaws practically slammed into the pavement, classic shock level unlocked. Once they're done geeking out over the loot like kids in a candy store, he finally asks, "So, is that enough?" The manager bursts out laughing, way more than enough, and scurries off to get them appraised, probably thinking he just hit the jackpot. Scanning the room like every protagonist searching for plot relevance, Cheyenne catches sight of yet another mandragora root, just chilling like a corpse in its water jar, because apparently, even plants need dramatic exits. The manager insists it's been dead for ages. Yeah, because that always works out in horror stories. He barely dribbles a drop of his power in hay, gotta save some for the next dramatic moment. The withered root gives an unexpected wiggle guess it's not ready for retirement just yet. The manager's eyes bug out seriously. He looks like he's seen a ghost. He grumbles, "I dumped a mountain of mana into that mandragora and got nothing. Now it throws a tantrum?" The door bursts open, because, of course, it does. His old boss storms in, acting like he pays the rent, and everyone's ego. Wasting no time, the man roasts the sorry excuse for an office. Honestly, even a ghost would pass on haunting this place. He sneers, "Heard some primo loot popped up here, mind if I help myself?" Manager Kim's jaw clenches. Yep, his jellyfish-spined assistant definitely threw him under the bus. Gejong An waltzes in, flashes a smug grin, and drops his title. Gold City Branchhead like it's supposed to impress anyone. He tells Cheyenne, "Congrats, you're my golden ticket." With that smug grin and nails-on-chalkboard laugh, Cheyenne's trigger finger is seriously itching. He brushes it off, then squints at the guy's last name. Wait, is he related to that Nobel Prize genius, Bak Deok-an? Because who doesn't have a Nobel laureate in the family, right? Ji-jung cracks up and, with zero shame, announces, "Yep, I'm the legendary guy's grandson," because of course he is. For him, it's just more proof that shady business is practically a family tradition. Guess some things really are hereditary. Bak Deok's greatest hits, that time he nearly whipped his test subjects into next week, reducing them to mere NPCs in someone else's story. His fury hits critical mass boom. An overwhelming aura blasts out, because apparently self-control is totally optional in this genre. The ground quakes, slamming Ji-jong to his knees. Towering over him, the guy spits and sneers. What is this, a family hobby, crushing people and swiping their stuff? Shaking like a leaf, Ji-jong snaps. What kind of ridiculous drama are you spouting now? Cheon's glare could melt steel, so unless this guy has a death wish, he'd better watch his mouth. In a voice colder than my ex's heart, Cheon asks, "Is the TDA lab still running?" Ji-jong scowls, claiming he's never even heard of the play's classic, "I have no idea what you're talking about, energy." But Cheon isn't buying it. He leans in, eyes sharp, and asks again, "Does Ji-jong really know nothing about Grandpa's secret Chimera lab?" Ji-jong just laughs it off, calling it slander. Apparently, Grandpa's only crime was trying to save the world. Classic villain backstory, right? He boasts, "This guy even handed over his whole fortune to the gate victims, and that's how you score a Nobel Prize, folks." Cheon cracks a wicked grin, muttering, "Guess the old maniac found his conscience right before kicking the bucket." He shrugs, "Shame that rookie hunter clocked out so soon. Maybe that dramatic window dive did him in. Guess gravity's tougher than monsters these days." Ji-jong's eyes pop guess that top secret disaster isn't so secret after all. Naturally, Cheon knows. He's the one who gave Grandpa the surprise shove. The ancient geezer threatened to toss the Chimera kids into a portal, so he gave Bakhtiak the VIP tour instead. He tells Ji-jong, "Go dig up whatever's left of Grandpa's lab and have a report on my desk before I'm back." Honestly, running into Bakhtiak's grandson after all these years, life sure has a sense of humor. At just 9 years old, he was snatched by a mad scientist, because apparently, villainy has no age limit. Turned into a brainless weapon, he followed orders like a robot. So much for a social life. Time flew by before he even noticed. For all he knows, the lab probably changed its name again. Classic villain move, right? Right on cue, Manager Kim makes his dramatic entrance. Couldn't miss the spotlight, huh? Armed with 2 bottles of sparkling green mana water. Because every hero knows hydration is OP. Cheyenne's jaw drops at how fast this A-rank pro gets things done. Finally, someone who counts costs instead of flexing egos. As a reward, our hero strikes a secret deal. He'll fetch the rare goodies, and the alchemist gets to play Potion Master, because every great adventure needs a caffeine hookup. His insanely generous offer nearly knocks the chubby uncle right out of his slippers. The moment he learns he can buy back his building and crush his mountain of debt, the man breaks down in happy tears. Finally, those loan sharks can find a new hobby. When Cheyenne wonders why the manager's suddenly leaking tears, he spills the tragic backstory. Because every manhwa manager has a slum phase, right? His parents? Deep in debt, because what else would kick off a tragic backstory? He hit the books on an empty stomach, because who needs dinner when you have dreams, right? He hustled non-stop, but with every paycheck, his debt just laughed and grew, like a villain that refuses to die. With a grin, our guy promises, "You'll never be out of a job with me around," then makes his dramatic exit as protagonists do. Praying disaster didn't strike in his absence, because when does life ever cut anyone a break? Meanwhile, in the other world, Yu's sister snaps. while Yu just stands there, channeling his inner pacifist protagonist, desperately pleading with her, hoping she'll snap out of it, because talking always works in these situations, right? She grabs his face and bowls a perfect strike, human edition. He freezes, flat on the ground, already rehearsing his dramatic last words, because obviously, this is how every hero thinks they'll go out. The moment Kim and Gu loom over him, he suddenly remembers. Oh right, he promised to protect them. Hero memory always kicks in at the best, or worst times. Energy surges through him, guess nap time's over, he leaps back into the fray. He charges straight at his sister, ready to end her pain and, hopefully, score her a better life next time. Talk about sibling support. But wait, before these siblings have their heart-to-heart, you know it's coming. Crashing onto the scene atop his flying jellyfish, our hero drops in, literally putting an end to their brawl faster than you can say, did someone order dramatic entrances? Birdman freezes, guess he didn't see that one coming. But his shock sprints straight to rage the moment he catches his so-called best friend pulling the ultimate betrayal classic, Manhwa, backstab. Anyone? He accidentally turned his sister into a speed bump. Putting that drama on pause, he cuts straight to the real question. Did the potion actually work, or was it just another bottle of fancy disappointment? Flashing a cocky grin, our hero dangles the 2 glowing green vials, proof he actually kept his promise this time. After stuffing themselves at dinner, the group finally winds down time for Sister Jia to shine. Groggily comes too, only to find Kim right there, because of course, who else would it be? Is she dreaming? Or did she just get a one-way ticket to the Afterlife Express? She whips her head around, classic move, right before the drama drops. She catches her brother hanging out by the campfire with a mysterious stranger, because of course there's always a mysterious stranger. Cheyenne shoots her a look. Uh-oh, is this where the blushes start? She freaks out, who's this guy, and why is she suddenly in a room full of strangers? Seriously, did she miss the memo for transported to another world day? Birdhead flashes a warm grin and says, hey, maybe check your manhole. No, not a weird pickup line this time. And just like magic, yep, it's not only fixed, it's basically new and improved. She suddenly notices her face is back to normal. No more monster, just 100% certified human. Guess the curse took a coffee break. Jia glances at her brother, confused, but Yu just grins. Seriously, Jia? The guy you've been pining over is right here and you still don't recognize him? Classic main character move. The moment reality smacks her in the face, she shatters. Cue the dramatic tears and existential crisis. Wait, you're seriously number 17? Not even lucky number 7? Yu just shrugs and says, guess I've saved your skins again. Should I start charging for this? Oblivious as ever, our guy totally misses the heartfelt drama classic protagonist move. Let me guess, they're out of red moss again, aren't they? Jia, ditching her frosty vibe, peels off her mask for the first time in years. Cue the dramatic gasp. She thanks him with all her heart, probably enough gratitude to power a shoujo confession scene. Suddenly, Kim's eyes go wide. Yep, he's totally spellbound. Bathed in the glow of golden deep-sea fairies skimming the water's surface, because apparently, even the ocean's got its own light show. Jia warns, follow them home after sunrise, and you're basically signing up for a horror sequel. Yellow quartz? Oh, you'll trip over it near their nests, because where else would rare loot spawn? Hit with a classic plot, twist our frosty genius hero just remembered the whole reason he came here, that darn mineral. Guess all that brooding leaves little room for memory. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the director's team sheepishly admits they lost track of the machine creature. Apparently, elite hunters are no match for a game of hide-and-seek on the coast. The director's brain just blue-screened. Every A-rank hunter came back totally memory-wiped. Guess the dungeon's got its own VIP amnesia service. But hey, at least their tracker still found the target. Just then, the director's phone buzzes, because, of course, drama waits for no one's ringtone. Meanwhile, Gi-jong-on's about to blow a gasket. He storms in and barks, Director, ever heard of a TDA lab, or is that too advanced for you? The director shuts down the conversation faster than a Wi-Fi outage, so Gi-jong spills every dirty secret he's got. But Director Ma-young shuts him down faster than a Wi-Fi outage. He swears Professor Bakhtiak drilled 2 things into his head, research honestly, and save the world. No pressure, right? He vows on the old man's name, like every protagonist ever, that he hasn't forgotten that lesson. Then, classic hero move, I'm busy, and hangs up. The moment he hangs up, panic hits. How does that deadbeat professor's grandson even know about the lab when every trace was wiped? Guess the family's better at digging than Grandpa ever was. Before he can process it, a giddy scientist bursts in, clutching a rattling briefcase, and announces, the Mandragora Mercury fusion? Nailed it. Because what could possibly go wrong with mad science on a Monday? They finally brewed up the liquid metal mandragora of his dreams. One glance from the director, and the creep's spine does the cha-cha. He's over the moon. Guess mandragoras take clingy to a whole new level. Even liquid metal's got the same superpower. Guess it's not just the hero showing off now. By fusing both abilities into a chimera, he's finally built the ultimate tracker perfect for hunting down his greatest mechanical masterpiece, Kim. Who knew playing mad scientist would pay off? He tells his minion to crank up the bounty on A-rank hunters, because when your masterpiece goes missing, you spare no expense or dramatic vow. While chaos brews, Yu's living his best beach bum life right next to Cheon's house. Guess someone didn't get the drama memo. Last night, our protagonist roped Yu and his sister into crashing at his place classic found family move, right? He brags about having a pro chef on standby, but Yu's real jaw-dropper, realizing he's officially moved to the demon realm, talk about a hell of a housewarming. Our guy claims, hey, you get used to the weird vibes here. Then Yu hits him with the real question. So, why stick around in Monsterland when you could just go back to boring old Earth? He just gives him the look and says, you seriously itching to return to that death trap of a world? Birdhead says Earth was always a disaster for him and his sister. But hey, maybe this time it's only mildly terrible. Our hero grins and says, actually, I might just have the cure because of course I do. Main character perks. He brags about meeting an insanely gifted alchemist back on Earth because every fantasy story needs that one genius friend, right? If they give manager Kim a little study time, he might just whip up a cure, because who needs med school when you have main character energy? Yu breaks the silence with a dramatic outburst of tears. Seriously, is it even a manhwa if someone doesn't cry out of nowhere? He asks Cheon, why are you always so nice to us? We haven't exactly earned any kindness points over here. He admits he helps others, hoping it'll lead him to his own answer, because after years of just surviving, he's starting to wonder if there's more to life than playing hide-and-seek with death. Still dripping from the ocean, Gia bursts onto the beach, wielding 2 massive ropes, like she's auditioning for Action Hero Mermaid of the Year. She tosses one to her brother and shouts, pull like your life depends on it, because, let's face it, in manhwa, it probably does. He yanks with the kind of strength you only see when someone's about to unlock a hidden power-up. But even so, he's still getting crushed. Guess those gym sessions didn't help. He's hauling a net bursting with quartz. Seriously, did our boy glitch the mining system or what? Cheyenne, finally back in the water after ages, feels more refreshed than a shonen hero after a training montage. Meanwhile, Kim can't wait to take the plunge. After all, who wouldn't want a second look at a sea fairy's jaw-dropping underwater pad? Yu, ignoring the obvious, wonders, so anyone got a magic bag for hauling all this quartz home? As our hero desperately cooks up a plan, probably involving more luck than logic. A solitary parrot vulture swoops overhead because, of course, nothing says ominous foreshadowing like a dramatic bird cameo. He thinks it's weird. Those birds usually travel in squads, not solo like mysterious loners. Kim flashes a grin at the pretty feathers until Gia warns her, trust me, you won't be smiling when one's flapping in your face. Vulture parrots, 4 meters tall, meaner than your ex, and scary enough to send even veteran hunters sprinting the other way. But all our hero spots is an Amazon delivery truck soaring overhead because even in another world, Prime shipping never lets you down. Back at home, Nam's grinding away because in manhwa, training montages are practically a rite of passage and surprise. His magic reserves are finally leveling up. At this pace, he'll hit A rank before he even finishes his morning coffee. Just as he finishes that thought, a half-dead mandragora flops behind him. Guess someone forgot their daily watering. Looks like he thinks the pint-sized rage machine is mad at him. Classic main character paranoia. Turns out, it's just getting bullied by the classic trio of guys in matching black, because every villain squad shops together. Nam's shiny head gives him away. One guy squints and asks, wait, did you become a mountain hermit or just lose your shampoo? Nam ducks, hands over his head, because nothing says stealth like hiding from your own shame. He can't believe it. The exam bullies have tracked him down again. Do these guys have a GPS on him or what? Before he can blink, the Mandragora gang leaps in front of him. Think less knight in shining armor, more bodyguards in questionable fashion. The hunters go wild. These beasts are worth more than gold. But the first guy struts over like he's about to win Pet Owner of the Year. Nam's blood boils. Guess he finally realized you can't just stand around when your master's VIP trio is in trouble. But plot twist, he doesn't even have to move. The chubby Mandragora just raises its stubby little leg like it's about to start a dance battle. Suddenly, the Three Stooges get launched so far, they're checking the Richter scale instead of their dignity. While our hero soars on his freshly tamed vulture parrot, he's left wondering, is it flying slow because he's heavy, or did he hurt the poor bird's feelings during taming? Maybe next time he'll try a gentler approach, and a diet. Nam almost goes full anime meltdown when he recognizes the culprits behind the blast cue dramatic zoom and internal screaming. He's convinced Gia and her brother are doomsday-level monsters lurking by the coast, because, of course, every beach needs its own apocalypse duo. The moment he realizes the others went in and never came back, panic mode activates. He's even desperate enough to team up with the guys in black. But before he can say, let's be frenemies, something else happens. Gia leans in, barely respecting personal space, and coolly asks, so, are you Cheon's celebrity chef, or just cosplaying today? Dude loses his mind when the monster drops a hello. Guess he missed the memo that villains get dialogue now. The second he hears chef, he jumps in, classic protagonist move, demanding if she knows his legendary master. Yu basically declares, "We're besties now, whether you like it or not." Brushing that off, Yu innocently asks if the three suspicious dudes are guests, as if villains ever RSVP. NAM's got that mischievous glint in his eye. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. He rats them out to what he thinks are apocalypse-level bosses, calling the trio master thieves. That's when they realize they've officially triggered the "you done messed up" moment. 60 minutes of absolutely nothing, classic suspense building, or just a nap break? Our guy finally drags himself back to his humble crib, probably hoping his fridge isn't as empty as his social life. A hefty bag stuffed with sparkling quartz, because who needs gold when you've got glittery rocks? He spots the vulture parrot, barely clinging to life after dragging all that baggage. Guess someone skipped leg day and wing day. He pats the guy on the back and says, "Take 5, hero, saving the day is exhausting work." Even the tiny feather ball, yes, an actual bird, tumbles off the vulture's back, apparently getting airsick from flying too high. Who knew birds could get travel sickness? Spotting the infamous A-rank trio trussed up like discount hostages, guess even top dogs have leash days. Our clueless hero's back and totally lost on what chaos he missed. Yu spills the Mandragora thieve's tale, but our guy's got a hunch. There's more brewing beneath the surface. Because in webtoons, it's never just about the thieves. While Gia fishes for compliments on her so-called humble abode, Kim's about to drop his brutally honest review. As the girls play tourist, Yu drops the bomb. Those guys from the Research Institute? Yeah, they're part of the same squad chasing Kim, because every shady organization needs a matching hoodie. He clocks the lab. Yep, the very spot where Nam swiped the tracker. Bad news, it's basically a hunter magnet now. Because Kim's tracker works even in the demon realm, guess privacy isn't a thing, not even in hell. He's still scratching his head. How did they find his place when he and Kim were miles away at the coast? Must be that classic villain GPS's trope at work. After that, Yu brandishes a shiny, metallic mandragora because nothing says danger like a screaming root with bling. Looks like this little glitter gremlin is to blame. Our guy can't believe someone actually Frankensteined liquid metal and a mandragora just to play high-tech hide-and-seek with him. Yu shrugs, "Hey, don't blame us. We just followed our mandragoras." Next stop was the coast anyway. Guess even magical veggies are better navigators than Google Maps. Cheon suddenly realizes he needs a security system, like yesterday, just as the Mandragora trio comes sprinting at him. Perfect timing, as always. They want their brother back, even if he's basically public enemy number 1. Guess family reunions really are mandatory. He hands over the tiny, dried-up dude. Yep, every party needs at least one pocket-sized mascot. They instantly shout, "Take the other one out too." Because, of course, problems always come in pairs in Manhwa. He's floored. They can smell the ancient, shriveled mandragora he stashed away, like he's got suspicious plant collector written on his forehead. Manager Kim handed it over, convinced Cheon wouldn't lose it in 5 minutes, unlike last time. The old man actually cried over that shriveled veggie guess that lettuce meant more than his grandkids. The mandragoras waste no time digging pint-sized graves for their battered buddies. Guess even plant people know how to put the fun in funeral. As soon as our battered duo plop down, because apparently comfy chairs heal all wounds, the two bounce back like nothing ever happened. Guess world peace is possible when snacks aren't involved. Just as he's savoring the lack of turf wars, he starts to wonder, where did Nam vanish off to this time? Gia pops up out of nowhere, classic rooftop surprise attack. She's juggling a clingy bald guy on one side and a turbocharged Kim on the other. Guess multitasking is her real superpower. Of course, our hero keeps Nam at arm's length as he lunges in for a tear-soaked hug because personal space is a luxury in Manhwa. Then he turns to Gia and asks, why does Nam look like he just lost a fight with a cardboard box? She deadpans, he was busy being piranha chow in the Lake Genius move, right? He claims he was just out hunting for top-tier ingredients to impress his master's guests, because apparently dinner parties are a life-or-death mission now. Nam tells everyone to hang tight while he whips up something extraordinary. But then he spots a vulture parrot just hanging out beside him. Because, of course, every hero needs a weird animal sidekick, right? He drops to the floor with yet another dramatic heart attack. Seriously, this guy's heart needs its own spin-off. Save the theatrics for the encore, just get the food on the table. Kim spots the gleaming mandragora chilling nearby, clearly unaware it's about to become today's main character. She's drawn to the shiny object like a magpie on a shopping spree. Of course, she just has to poke it. The instant their worlds collide. Reality check, cue the weirdness. Nam's signature dish leaves the bird siblings so stunned, you'd think they just saw their reflection in a clean window. A piping hot plate of kimchi curry rice, because every hero needs their spicy power-up. He poured in so much effort, even Gordon Ramsay would throw his apron in defeat. Our crew attacks the feast like they haven't eaten since chapter 1. Cheon spots Kim poking at her food like it's plotting against her, so he asks, what's up? She sighs, I'm not feeling well, classic code for please don't ask me about my tragic backstory. She claims she just needs a nap, but his overpowered intuition knows she's actually torn up over that liquid metal mandragora, because in manhwa, naps are never just naps. As the sun dramatically dips below the horizon, because, of course, all the important stuff happens at sunset. The mandragora is just chilling underground, rooting for a quiet life. Suddenly, their sixth sense kicks in because nothing says trouble like a mysterious shiver. No sooner does our guy suggest building a fence for some cardio, because who needs a gym when you've got manual labor? He senses it too. Guess these powers come with a free sixth sense. A massive gate rips open behind his house, because portals don't believe in knocking. Kim stands before it, convinced that sticking around will only turn his life into even more of a disaster movie. And that's why she's hitting the rewind button, heading back to where it all began. Clutching her metallic mandragora like a weirdly cute teddy bear, she whispers Alaska bye and sprints into the portal, no dramatic over-the-shoulder glance required. At the last moment, he catches her and declares, "Home isn't a place, it's wherever you are." Classic manhwa move, right? Kim bursts into tears, again, and Cheyenne realizes, maybe babysitting isn't just child's play. Moments later, because time skips are a webtoon's best friend. Our tiny gremlin's inhaling ramen like he didn't just dodge a life-or-death crisis. Classic main character energy. She looks like she just found true love in a bowl of noodles. Gia warns her next time she tries to run, Big Sister won't be so forgiving, because every escape attempt in a manhwa is basically an extreme sport. She slurps ramen at lightning speed, instantly setting her tongue on fire. Guess she unlocked the spicy speedrun achievement. Nam hands her his mom's legendary cure-all, all the same miracle medicine even you remembers from the lab. Guess it's the Tylenol of this universe. Once she downs a couple bottles like a pro, she sits in silence across from Cheon because apparently talking at the table is too mainstream. She says sorry for making him worry, but he shuts her down. After all, it's her creators who deserve the apology, not her. Classic, blame the writers, not the character. Determined, he leans in time for the "tell me about your friends" interrogation. Wouldn't want to accidentally clobber anyone from Team Coconut during his Research Institute raid, that'd be awkward. Kim spills all the secrets, because what's a manhwa without a dramatic info dump? He doesn't even ask for directions. Nam knows the place like the back of his hand. Meanwhile, the bald dude's about to serve up some payback to those so-called A-rank losers. But the moment he pulls off the Gaga boy, brace yourself. The A-ranker immediately whips out his wallet, trying to buy his way to freedom because nothing says hero like throwing cash at your problems. Pretty boy flaunts his fortune, promising a payday big enough to make anyone reconsider their morals. Swearing to take their secrets to the grave, because apparently silence is the new superpower. But then, Nam shuts down Mr. Big Ego by flashing the ultra-rare black card, because nothing says sit down like premium plastic. The bald clown cackles, who knew sweet revenge would just waltz up and say hello. The A-rankers all, just kidding. But Nam? Yeah, he's fresh out of forgiveness coupons. He whips out 3 glistening orbs forged from pure oblivion herbs, because who needs allergy warnings when you can just YOLO the pain? But Nam's convinced it might finally fix their dumpster fire personalities. He slams those balls straight into their faces. Guess he's not afraid of a little close contact. Come sunrise, Kim's already goofing off with the world's cutest dust bunny. Someone get this guy a pet care manual. Yu stares him down. You're really raiding the lab? Our guy just grins. Of course he is. When is bad idea ever stopped a manhwa hero? He asks him to babysit Kim while he runs off with Nam and Master Gu because, of course, the hero always gets errands dumped on him. Enter the bald guy grinning ear to ear and hauling a backpack so big you'd think he's moving houses. Why is he so hyped? Simple, today he finally gets to fangirl over a legendary alchemist. That mysterious stranger? They might just be the miracle cure our hero's been waiting for, because of course it's never the doctor. Gia rolls her eyes and tells them to cover their faces. Subtlety isn't their strong suit. Nam, of course, couldn't care less. But the moment he spots the goddess beneath that mask, he does a complete 180 guess true. Beauty really does change minds faster than a plot twist. Bad news for our guy, she hands him her mask. Never mind that it looks like he borrowed it from a toddler's costume party. In that instant, Cupid sniped him, love at first sight, and he never saw it coming. Channeling his inner Chad, he coolly declares he's not here to play games. Then, without missing a beat, hits her with the classic, "So, what's your type? Move over, Romeo. Grab your popcorn with Cheon around. Things are about to go full K-drama spicy." Gia's not one for nonsense. She goes full Sherlock mode and thinks harder than a student before finals. Right after some classic nail-biting suspense because, of course, nothing ever goes smoothly. She jokes he'd need killer dance moves, a flair for drama, and enough feathers to put a peacock to shame. That just punched Noom's insecurity straight in the gut, ouch, right in the feels. He's practically on his knees, pleading our hero to fast-track him to the Earth Alchemist, because apparently, patience is for side characters. Civilians freak out as a giant return portal pops up because when has that ever meant good news? Out of nowhere, a vulture parrot swoops in, cue civilian panic and an Olympic sprint to report it. Nam calls out the fear in the room, but our guy just shrugs. Why walk when you've got wings? Someone tell him this isn't a superhero audition. He deadpans. So, do you even know where we're heading? Or are we just lost protagonists now? He coolly reminds Nam, relax, I'm the one steering this ship. Soaring high on his massive blue parrot, he flexes his creativity, naming it Blue. Groundbreaking, right? At the lab, scientists announce every hunter returned, memory wiped clean. Guess monster hunting comes with a free brain reset. The director loses it when he hears they misplaced Dragra. The metal man was his one and only Kim tracking GPS. No new masterpiece, no money. Guess even geniuses have to show their homework. Right on cue, a scientist pops up because when do they not? He flashes a tiny note stuck to a hunter's gear because apparently secret messages love cosplay too. The director spots the "see you soon" message and instantly explodes. His poor employees brace themselves for the incoming Bacilla rampage. Suddenly, glass explodes behind him because of course, windows only exist to get smashed in, Manhwa. He crash lands right into the office. Turns out, missing just one tail feather turns flying into a disaster. Who knew wings had quality control? Flashback time. Back when Nam spilled the beans about the Institute's secret hideout because every good story needs a conveniently timed memory lane. He still sweated bullets. After all, this lab isn't just powerful, it's basically the final boss of science in the whole country. Even the news can't stop buzzing about the Institute's latest headline. We made a robot that breathes, because why create a toaster when you can play God? NAM is sweating bullets, convinced they're picking a fight with the mafia, because why not go big or go home, right? His sensei's zen-like chill? It's basically a confidence buff, no stat points required. But wait, one tail feather's gone, cue the dramatic gasp. He says it's been this way ever since he stumbled upon Blue, because destiny loves a dramatic entrance. So, losing a single feather turned Blue into public enemy number one. Guess vultures really care about fashion. But ever since his unlikely rescue, Blue's been oddly upbeat. After soaring through the skies for what felt like 3 filler episodes, deep in the mountains, they finally lay eyes on the legendary Research Institute. Because, of course, all secret labs come with a complimentary mountain view. He shouts, Blue, floor it, and don't even think about turning. The parrot launches itself at the lab, channeling its inner fighter jet. Top Gun, but with more feathers. In the meeting room, the scientists debate if Elon just kickstarted World War III, or is he just bored again? As the chaos dies down, zoom in. Someone just got an Ultra HD look at the color blue because why not turn eye contact into a dramatic event? It scares him so much, he's about to invent a new kind of scream. They all get tangled up like discount Spider-Man. Nam wonders, why not use the front door? The reply, I went straight to the top floor. After all, that's where the boss hides. Who needs stairs when you've got plot armor? The scientists freak out, because of course, another mystery guy just showed up out of nowhere. He boldly declares himself Kimnari's guardian, because every protagonist needs a bodyguard with a flair for the dramatic. Suddenly, our hero sniffs out some sketchy dark mana classic red flag for bad guy in the area. We cut to the oh-so-mysterious Hunter Association Tower, because where else would world-changing decisions happen? President Lee tells his spoiled grandson, hurry up and pick a side already. This isn't a K-drama cliffhanger. Already in his 20s, this kid's matched his grandpa's lifelong C-rank record talk about a family legacy. Grandpa's probably somewhere, wishing grandkids came with upgrade patches. The good-for-nothing grandson begs grandpa for more pocket money. Guess who's regretting raising a human piggy bank? Even at 80, the guy's still dodging the family throne. Guess some people really never grow up. As a kid, he wanted to be a hero, just like those overpowered hunters on TV. Too bad they never showed the paperwork part. These days, heroes turn down anything risky unless there's a fat paycheck involved. Guess saving the world doesn't cover rent anymore. The Chimeras were created so their makers could dodge danger and responsibility. Now those Chimera labs are charging more than a dragon's ransom. That means if you can't cough up the cash, you're basically monster bait. The president insists the association should save lives, not just those with deep pockets, because last I checked, CPR isn't a premium subscription. And that's why the president's seat is the ultimate throne move over Game of Thrones. Every would-be successor is a walking greed machine. If one of these clowns takes over, get ready for the Hunter Mafia, now hiring, no morals required. With his dying breath, Grandpa passes the torch to his prodigy grandson, because let's face it, being a C-rank his whole life, the only thing he could change was the TV channel. At those words, his grandson loses it faster than a shonen hero at a villain monologue. Before he can even open his mouth, someone bursts in. Apparently, there's a vulture parrot causing chaos in the slums. Because of course there is. When the president demands, all right, who's handling this mess? No hunter wants this gig. Guess even monster slayers have their limits. That really gets under his skin. Everyone knows a slum job pays about as much as a villain's promise, absolutely nothing. The president demands every Chimera lab be notified, because apparently, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Even more shocking, his grandson Bayek wants to tag along. Guess he's not missing out on Grandpa's wild adventures. In the lab, Chion's danger senses tingle. Turns out the creepy mana is radiating from, you guessed it, the white-haired scientist. Because of course it is. He's got about as much mercy as a villain in the final chapter. effortlessly shredding danger to pieces with just a flick of his threads. Talk about cutting corners. Suddenly, the scientist goes full Terminator and melts into liquid metal. Guess someone skipped their solid food today. Nam's jaw drops as he realizes the human in front of him is actually a chimera. Guess someone missed the be yourself memo. Even his own henchmen are floored. Turns out their boss is a full-blown chimera. Guess those team-building retreats missed a few details. Director Mayung hulks out into a nightmare monster. Guess someone really hates cleaning up after genius kids. As the director takes a wild swing with his shiny metal claws. Seriously, who gave this guy a manicure? The liquid metal? It's a dead ringer for Kim's. Guess they're running a buy one get one free special on mysterious substances. No fancy gadgets here. He used himself as the crash test dummy. And right then, Master Gu reveals he's unlocked the ultimate cheat code reading Director Mayang's mind. Hope he's ready for some awkward secrets. Cheyenne mind gets hijacked by a montage of the twisted guy's memories. Welcome to his creepy secret lab, where the lighting is always set to villain chic. The director pumped those kids full of experimental junk, all to out-crazy his own lunatic mentor, Bakhtiak An. But when he finds out his boss racked up a body count of kids just to get ahead, yeah, things get real. Our hero snaps and turns that guy's face into a pancake, no hesitation. The battered director scoffs. Slum kids? They're worth less than sewer rats. Honestly, they should thank me for making them lab rats. At least that's a promotion. Unaware that Cheyenne's got a front row seat to every thought thanks to Gu's mind reading. Awkward much? The mad scientist thinks he can just turn into Gu and slip away. Guess someone's been watching too many cartoons. Our hero gives him a VIP tour of the pain chamber. Lesson learnt the hard way. A surge of blue mana crashes over the molten metal because apparently subtlety is for amateurs. And just like that, he's stuffed into a Pokeball because apparently catching people is a thing now. He swivels dramatically to face the other scientists, because no manhwa genius ever makes an exit without a dramatic pivot. Any takers? Or would you rather join the others in my Pokeball collection? Our fluffy phoenix spills the tea. Director Mayong used to be Bakhtiak's star pupil until he let greed turn him into the villain. Classic, right? He bailed from the lab, swiping all the bio-experiment data because who doesn't want eternal youth as a chimera? But Cheon's worried. Myeon's memories are a total blank when it comes to the TDA lab. Suspicious, right? At least he ditched the tracker from Young's institute. Finally, Kim can go 5 minutes without being stalked. He's already ordered Nam and Blue to babysit the other scientists, because geniuses need supervision apparently. Now, all that's left is to face the dirty director's nightmare experiments, because of course, every villain has a creepy science hobby. With one kick, he turns those steel gates into scrap metal. Guess they should have invested in magic locks. He steps inside, and boom, chimeras everywhere. But don't worry, they're all deader than his social life. Gu's jaw drops. Turns out the psycho really kept the kids' bodies for research. Guess some people collect stamps, others collect corpses. Seeing the kids, Cheon flashes back to his own days as a lab rat, except they never let him die. After all, you don't just throw out your golden goose, even if it bites. He figures it's about time these ghost kids got their long overdue nap. No more haunting, just sweet dreams. Out of nowhere, a tiny, fox-like critter pops up, sniffing the air. Guess someone forgot to hide their snacks again. He clocks her right away. Yep, another member of Kim's ever-expanding entourage. He leans in and asks the tiny fluffball, know anything about robots? The fox's ears perk up. Turns out, she's got the scoop on Kim. He rushes over with the classic, "Are you okay?" Because in manhwa, asking twice is basically first aid. When he says she's finally living it up in the demon realm, her eyes well with warm tears. Guess even hell can be heartwarming. She admits she's been waiting for Kim all along. Turns out, true love just ignores the missing persons report, and she's pretty relieved he's not a ghost. Suddenly, as if this was a group buy one, get two free deal, 2 more of Kim's secret buddies sneak out from behind the door. 4 squirrels he's never met are tailing them. Guess he's popular with the wildlife now. When he asks if anyone's left, Foxy shrugs. Everyone else was either sold or sent to the great off-screen beyond. Stunned by that bombshell, he rips open a portal to the demon realm because every hero needs a dramatic exit, finally giving the surviving chimeras a safe place to call home. Moments later, because in manhwa, things never just take their time. President Lee and his grandson step into the institute only to go stiff as boards when they realize the chimeras after the lab, not the conveniently disposable slums next door. Smoke curls up from the wreckage because what's a dramatic scene without a little atmospheric flair? Beck sees the vulture parrot overhead, except this one comes with a masked rider, like someone's hacked reality with a Minecraft mod. While our hero coolly checks if Nam's cleaned up the scientists, his loyal sidekick proudly wags his tail. Yep, every last lab coat is stashed somewhere safe. Nam wonders, why not just erase their memories? But nope, he left them intact because what's a secret organization without a few loose ends, right? He points down, asking, who are those 2 eavesdropping? Nam shrugs, oh, just President Lee from the association and his grandson, because every powerful grandpa needs a prodigy in training, right? He figures they all sprinted here after those panic reports. Spotting the president's name, oh, that guy again, can't resist stirring the pot a little. Suddenly, because why not? He lobs a Pokeball to the old man because who needs manners when you've got good aim? When the president finally catches on, yeah, it only took a miracle. He's floored. It's been ages since he's seen a Manaseal this beefy. Guess power-ups really do come back in style. Only someone with more magic than the creator can break these seals, so who on earth could lock up a powerhouse like director Mai Young? Must have been one heck of a monster, or maybe just someone really tired of paperwork. Not a single minion bit the dust guess. It's just property damage and hurt pride today. But the reports get weirder. Turns out, the director's own crew says he's not even human. Just your average workplace problem, my boss is a shape-shifting chimera. Turns out, this so-called intruder torched the whole Chimera lab, then played hero and rescued every researcher. Talk about mixed signals. Hearing this, the director can't help but think, wait, is this the same kid I thought was long gone? Guess faking your death really is a shonen specialty. Soaring above the clouds, our hero finally admits, no more detours, time to crash the Demon Realm's party. Nam just wants a doctor to check his shiny dome, but dodging the association on Earth? Easier said than done. Bald problems never come alone. As darkness falls, because obviously, all the interesting stuff happens after sunset, manager Kim snaps out of dreamland. Guess his door wanted to audition for a drum solo. He steps out, half expecting it to be a bill collector, or, knowing his luck, a surprise villain at midnight. He stumbles upon a classic, a sketchy guy in a black mask, passed out like he's auditioning for Suspicious NPC of the Year. That horror scene nearly sends his soul sprinting for the exit. Guess he forgot to equip his plot armor today. But Cheon's voice works wonders, like emotional noise-canceling headphones. The terrified guy blurts out, why the midnight horror movie visit? Flashing his trademark hero grin, our boy declares, guess it's time to pay the Demon Realm a visit, because where else would the protagonist go on a Tuesday? At his not-so-luxurious lair, Kim and the bird siblings hatch a plan to fence things in armed with nothing but piles of quartz and crystals, because who needs wood when you've got shiny rocks? Yu casually slaps a hollow quartz onto a chunky light crystal and, boom, a lamp. The kid's mind is blown. Who knew DIY lighting could be this dramatic? Cut to, plot twist incoming, in 3, 2, 1. A portal pops open behind them. Kim's first thought? Cheon's back. Spoiler, it's not Cheon. Chimeras from the research lab spill out of the portal, stacking up like a monster laundry day. Someone forgot to separate the colors. The bird siblings exchange bewildered glances. Did our hero really send these bargain bin chimeras? Kim bolts faster than my Wi-Fi on payday, ducking behind the house with the classic shy hero move. While the newbies gawk, Sasa strikes a pose like he's the final boss. Striking a pose like he's auditioning for Alpha Male of the Year. But the pint-sized tree chimera tunes out the resident loudmouth and shuffles straight to the lush veggie patch, because even magical beasts know good soil when they see it. And then, cue the dramatic pause. A wild brawl erupts as the garden's OGs catch the trespasser red-footed. Guess someone forgot to read the keep out sign. Not long after, our hero dives back into demon territory, dragging Nam and poor manager Kim along for the ride. The manager's jaw practically hits the floor. Guess someone just unlocked shock and awe mode. Thanks to Cheon, the so-called primitive realm now has architecture that would make modern city planners jealous. The chubby superfan starts geeking out over our hero's jaw-dropping architecture built with, what? Pocket lint and a dream. Cheon can't help but notice Kim lurking behind a tree classic move, while she ditches her reunion for a game of hide-and-seek. He dashes off, ordering Nam and the manager to stay put, because clearly, splitting up always works out in Manhwa, right? He hands Jia her mask back, because apparently, every hero must return lost property before saving the world. He demands, why is there a fiber feud in my veggie patch? She shrugs, that sapling's just fighting for the good dirt. The Mandragoras kicked off a turf war because nothing says, home sweet home, like a little plant-on-plant violence. It's a classic standoff, nobody's moving, like a pair of statues in a staring contest. Ant-Man dives in because every brawl needs that one guy who shows up late and thinks he's the hero. The sapling turns its vine into a catapult, flinging its buddy right at the chubby Mandragora, because teamwork means launching your friends at danger. But, of course, their master plan crashes harder than a rookie isekai protagonist. The plump Mandragora dodges at the last second. Who knew tubby roots could move like that? The ant zooms by, only to headbutt the metal Mandragora like it's aiming for a concussion. Watching chaos erupt, because what's a good story without a bit of mayhem? The tiny sapling scoops up its battered buddy and shuffles back to the squad. Absolutely wrecked. Guess they're not the protagonists today. Wait a second, where'd the fox scamper off to? Our hero's got some detective work to do. Plot twist. She totally caught Kim pulling a sneaky ninja exit and decided to tail her spy style. Lurking behind the tree, like every cliché mysterious stranger ever, she vows to plant herself right there, no bathroom breaks, until Kim finally coughs up that apology. Kim quit fighting in matches the moment she stepped into the research lab. Guess she thought test tubes were less likely to punch back. The absolute obedience curse? Yeah, didn't work on her. No matter what the scientist tried, she just said, nope, not today. Every time she got tossed into a ranking match, she'd take a dive faster than a soccer player, losing on purpose, like it was her side hustle. The scientists guessed she was born a pacifist, because even as a combat chimera, she'd rather hug it out than throw a punch. Director Myung didn't even break a sweat. If it's just a personality problem, that's practically a coffee break for him. The villain tossed a handful of weaklings into her room. Guess he's hoping Misery really does love company. He twisted the curse, turning her own friends into unwilling gladiators. Some friendship, huh? Betrayal hurts, but getting stabbed in the back by your closest friends? That's next-level agony. Trust issues unlocked. Shattered her like a cheap vase at a clumsy butler convention. He tried to brainwash her, claiming loyal friends are a fairy tale, and promised she'd die alone. Talk about a motivational speaker. Unless she shattered their hopes before they could crush hers. Call it preemptive heartbreak. In a classic, My Life just did a K-drama, 180, something inside her broke, and with tears streaming, she bolted like she was late for an Idol audition. Instead of breaking her friends' hearts, she bolted for the door classic, main character escape plan. Move! Not even a swarm of panicked scientists could stop her. She bolted through that portal faster than common sense at a mad science convention. Back in the present surprise, Kim's back to her original self. No more magical glow-ups, for now. Foxy gapes. Wait, why is Kim crying? Shouldn't Foxy have dibs on being upset here? Kim pulls her in for a bear hug, confessing she's missed her and the whole gang for what feels like 100 episodes. While the three adults lurk behind a tree like discount ninjas, Cheon sighs in relief. They're friends again. Back home, he discovers the two geniuses took the order so literally, you'd think Common Sense was a paid DLC. He then proudly unveils the manager, yep, his very own A-rank alchemist. Who needs a sidekick when you've got a walking potion factory? The old man starts off strong, then promptly says whatever pops into his head. Classic mentor move. Unk, channeling his inner mad scientist, sweetly requests a few feathers from the bird siblings purely for research and definitely not for a new pillow. Next up, Bongsu tries convincing the adorable shopgirl that the bluebird monster wasn't just a bedtime story, and yes, the association showed up faster than free samples at a bakery. Just as he mentions the chill, cue the dramatic shiver classic timing. She hands him piping hot sweet potatoes because nothing says romance like carbs and steam. A single bite of that warm treat, and boom, his mood does a total 180. Who needs therapy when you've got comfort food? She spots him, yep, paler than a vampire at a garlic festival. He confesses he's always sore after training, so much that even painkillers have waved the white flag. She spots the telltale signs of awakening sickness, fever chills, and body aches. Classic symptoms, and no, he's not just being dramatic this time. And hey, he's in his late teens, the prime age for mysterious powers to suddenly kick in. The kid instantly shoots down the idea, no way a country bumpkin like him could be a hunter, but she claps back saying background means nothing in this game, especially since he's been leveling up faster than a cheat code. She shoves cash into his hands because in Manhwa, refusing free money is apparently a crime. He tells him, take this, hop on a bus to the association, and prove you're not just another background character. Go ace that test. Blushing, the tsundere mumbles, it's not like I'm destined to be a legendary hunter or anything, Bibaka. Bongsu lights up like he just won the lottery. Yep, he actually thanks the nice lady. The age-obsessed young girl loses it when he calls her lady again. But hey, at least he promises to repay her big favor, right? Maybe with wrinkle cream next time. Cut to the demon realm, because of course, every story needs one. The newbie chimeras pitch in to help the bird siblings with their shiny new quartz fence teamwork makes the dream work, even if half the team has tails where their heads should be. You isn't breaking a sweat. Being a chimera has its perks. Despite running on fumes, Nam's still playing hero. Someone get this guy a pillow. The gang teams up with Chaeyeon to wrap things up, while manager Kim brainstorms how to rescue Blue's tail feathers. Feathers in distress, film at 11. Meanwhile, Nam's priority? Getting his head examined. Guess someone finally noticed. Our hero drops an accidental threat, and suddenly Mr. Clean finds the mute button. With a glare that could curdle milk, he warns the Chimera gang, nobody freeloads here unless you're planning to pay rent and chores. Kim tags along as he heroically tackles fence maintenance, because every epic journey starts with yard work. Once he spills his master plan, he flips the script. So, patch things up with your friends yet, or are we still in Cold War mode? She stiffens like a deer in headlights, then sheepishly asks if he actually braved the coconut tribe to rescue her friends, because apparently, that's just another Tuesday for our hero. He catches on. She knows he's uncovered her true identity. Blushing, she admits she's not really from the legendary coconut tribe. Shocking, right? Next thing you know, she'll say she hates coconuts too. Cheon just shrugs and says, relax, trust me, you're not exactly going to have a fan club chasing you down. Because he did all the heavy lifting. Seriously, does this guy ever take a day off? Out of nowhere, he grins and declares, let's make this place the legendary coconut tribe, HQ. Because who needs normal roommates when you can start your own weird clan? They need an adorable family name, something as sweet as she is. And no, the Cuddle Squad is not off the table. Beneath a star-splattered sky, the quartz fence glows, because nothing says mood lighting like a magical security system. Tears streaming, she thanks him because apparently saving the world earns you at least one heartfelt sob. She struts back like she just leveled up confidence stat maxed out. Everyone stared in shock. Wait, did that conversation actually go well? Somebody check if we're still in the same webtoon. Nam proudly announces the fence is done and looking fabulous. Meanwhile, Kim is over the moon that their house now sparkles like it's auditioning for a slice-of-life anime. Foxy missed her so much, she ambushes her with a hug attack. Classic best friend move. He went full dessert mode. She basically became his ice cream cone. Blue gets inspired and charges in, because heaven forbid anyone misses their cue in a manhwa. Barreling toward Cheon for a rib-crushing hug because boundaries don't exist in manhwa. Guess what? The feathers are back like they never left. The manager rushes over, grinning. Turns out your red moss is basically a miracle cure worked faster than a protagonist's plot armor. Blue's glorious tail feathers send Nam's hair-growing hopes soaring. Maybe today's the day puberty finally calls back. Not about to let a golden opportunity slip away because, let's face it, those only come around when the protagonist needs them most. He glides up behind the manager like a ninja guest. Stealth missions are just another Tuesday for him. He asks if the guy's familiar with hair loss Q-shock. Who knew our hero had detective skills, or just really sharp eyes? Turns out, Mr. Mysterious has spent the last decade brewing up a miracle hair serum. Guess bald boy's shiny days might be numbered. Turns out, every alchemist is obsessed with curing that, so the manager swears he'll call Nam first. Guess Nam's got a VIP pass to the world's worst lottery. Nam's gleaming dome smacks the floor. He's bowing so hard you'd think this guy holds the secret to getting a girlfriend, or at least some hair advice. The manager drops a bombshell. Even their own feathers are hiding secrets. He awkwardly admits that magic circles are basically the Rubik's Cube of the wizarding world. Good luck cracking those. The curse is so over the top, even he's stumped, and this guy's seen everything. But hey, maybe a mountain of mandragora fruit will finally do the trick. He asks, wait, is that the infamous red fruit that just pops up on mandragoras? Or is it just another plot device? He adds, good luck getting one. Mandragoras only let you pick them if they're in the mood, so basically it's like asking a cat for permission. And hey, don't forget to build them tiny huts, because if there's one thing these critters love more than snacks, it's hiding from predators like they're starring in their own survival. Manhwa. Manager Kim's jaw drops. He can't believe how much random trivia this guy knows about the species. Someone get him a biology degree already. Cheon finally spills the beans about his shady past with the little guys. Guess he's been keeping more secrets than a manhwa protagonist's tragic backstory. Flashback to when they tossed him solo into the demon realm for 10 days. Basically, the world's worst camping trip. To him, this mission was just a winter hike with extra steps. He even thought about climbing to the peak for kicks. Because why not turn a life or death quest into a weekend getaway? Just as he's strolling along, classic manhwa style, a suspicious rustle erupts from the bushes because of course it does. Pitching in, he spotted the tiny, wounded mandragora flailing around. Guess it's not just the hero who needs saving today.